Welcome to Kick. Welcome to Kick. Welcome to Kick. Welcome to Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly. Good evening, everyone. Tuesday. Good evening, everyone. I like to keep the show to about 90 minutes. Kippo-licious. Be sure you get that schmedium every Tuesday night. Full tilt boogie. Kippo-licious. Good evening, everyone. Twisted Tea.
We're here at the Denso NHRA 4Y Nationals here in Las Vegas. Man, we have got two-time funny car, top fuel champion, Cruz Pedregon here, icon of the sport. Dude, we just so appreciate you taking the time. But I got to ask you, so we know in 1986, you were driving go-karts, and a year later, you're in a dragster. What made that change of going from wanting to do, you know, track racing to running down straight track racing?
I started out with something I could afford, so there was a little dirt track, or a few dirt track races in Southern California that I started racing. You know, like I said, I could afford it. They're still expensive, but I always had my eye on drag racing. So I caught the eye of an owner that had a low budget team, started out very humble beginnings. I basically worked for food. I worked to race for nothing. So, but I started out, you couldn't have started out further down the ladder than I did, but I'm glad I did because I was able to parlay that into driving for a bigger team through the years, won a championship, and here we are. I own my own team. I've been in business for like 15 years now, or 20 years on my own with Snap-on and Kicker and all the great sponsors, so very exciting time.
Cruz, we know you're super passionate about what you do, but we're curious, you know, what drives you, what refuels you off the track when you're at home?
Well, I have a daughter now, so it's, you know, I just love my daughter. She's going on 8 years old, so, you know, priorities change a little bit, but I've always had this passion for racing, so much so that that's all I would do morning, noon, and night. I would think about it when I got up. Go to bed at night. Racing was my entire life, and it still is, but I share a little bit of that during the off time with my daughter Raya and my girlfriend Melissa. So, you know, it's one of those things where the desire to perform at this level and to do it, I feel like I have my best years ahead of me. I have so much more experience than I did when I started out that I want to put that to good use. So here we are.
That's awesome. Well, man, I tell you, Kicker is super proud to be associated with you. We're blessed to be part of, you know, the team and helping out. And hey, now that we've got this killer PA system back here jamming the pits, what's that mean for you and your team and your guests and everybody in your organization?
Well, having a brand like Kicker, number one, is an honor for us, really. I know it's a brand that goes way back. Heck, we've all heard of them. So for them to be, you guys support us like you do is really an honor for us. But we want to do our part on the racetrack and you know, and put your guys' name out there. But as far as what you guys just created for us was really cool. I didn't have any idea of the quality of sound with all the noise, all the race cars starting, all the voices and all the generators running, that we could still hear loud and clear the PA system. So thanks to Kicker, great product, you know, and we have a lot of Snap-on guests that are invited to come out here as part of the customer service to say thank you to their Snap-on customers for buying the tools. So it's a great opportunity for us to speak to them but not have to yell. So they appreciate it. Like I say, the brand speaks for itself. It's quality. So you know, we're tickled to have them.
Well, thank you so much, man. Look, look, after 32 some years of blasting down the track, pulling 4 Gs, yeah. What keeps you pushing to do this, man?
You know, it's amazing because you never get used to these cars. Like, my eyes still burn like everybody else. They're still loud, but they accelerate. Every run is like a new run. You never know what they're gonna do, but I feel like I have a little bit less stress because I kind of know what the car is supposed to do and what it feels like to make a good run. So, like I said, as a driver, yeah, I've got a few miles on me, but I think in this sport, you can still be a little older and still be able to perform at a high level. So that's what I look at as you know, I don't feel like I'm a deficient guy in this driver's seat. If anything, I hope I can bring something to it. But the day's gonna come, hey, I'm an owner and I have a fast car. The day's gonna come where, hey, I'm gonna wanna look at a younger driver and somebody, you know, to replace me so I can maintain ownership and maybe tune that guy into a championship or gal, whoever. So, but it's a business. I look at it as a business. It has to make sense down the road, but I'm not looking, I'd say another 4 or 5 years in this seat, I'm good.
Hey, I know you're running tight on time. You got a last qualifying run. Again, we're blessed to be with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We love you, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
See you.
Flash! This just in. Extra low frequencies detected emanating from the heavens. Saucer-shaped objects confirmed all over the world. Unidentified flying K saucers spotted delivering Kicker's amazing new CompQ subwoofer. Built for precision, built for abuse, built for the future and benefit of mankind. Kicker's new CompQ woofer leaves audiences astounded and amazed as it reveals subtleties in their favorite music in a way that is sure to make women blush and grown men cry. The surround features Kicker's variable cross-section high-roll design, allowing extended cone travel and excellent cone control. It's firmly attached to the cone, reinforced with our iconic stitching. Betsy Ross would be so proud. The injection-molded solo cone and laser X cone brace combined in a single ultra-rigid unit. Venting in the brace relieves performance-robbing back pressure. All this adds up to very low distortion and amazingly clean low bass. The progressive roll blue lace spider adds even more cone control at maximum excursion. The woven tinsel leads are sandwiched between the spider and the lace for durability and long life and to prosper. The spring terminal's heavy-duty square design accepts wires as big as 8-gauge or two 12-gauge wires for multi-sub installations. The high-temp voice coil is rumored to be spun upon the looms of the gods of polyamide fiberglass, along with a reinforced former for high strength and power handling. Now, add colossal magnets, plus a cavernous bump backplate, an extended pole piece created in a single forging, the likes that haven't been seen since the creation of Poseidon's trident. And the result is a driver with superior control and effective heat dissipation that extreme performance demands. The all-new Kicker CompQ is designed from the ground up to deliver everything you demand from a premium subwoofer. High output, deep, powerful, accurate bass, remarkably small enclosure requirements, stunning good looks, and not to mention the ability to frighten small children when turned up to 11. So there you have it. The all-new Kicker CompQ subwoofer. Another zenith of innovation and epic majesty from Kicker.
I built my first speaker to be louder. I was playing in a band and the drummer played so loud and the keyboard that I had wouldn't play very loud, and I went to my dad and said, I need a bigger speaker. It's a Fender Bandmaster, it costs $300. He dropped the newspaper. It said, $300? Yeah, but he didn't say no. He said, is it something that we could build? And so that's how I got started building speakers. The thing that I love to see is a product that we made and get to stand back kind of anonymously and watch somebody take a look at it, listen to it, and go, wow. I think that's what really lights my fires, to make products that people enjoy and have fun with. As time went on, I heard people say, you know, Kicker's like a family. I actually didn't set out to do that. I thought it sounded kind of hokey. I thought they were insincere and just saying that. After a few years, I realized, yeah, maybe that's what we've got. And that's the key, is the good people on your team in the band that makes the band really great. Well, I think Kicker is primarily a lifestyle company. That's a little backwards of where I started. I thought we were a technology company and we would make great products, but as time went on, realized that it's about people and helping people to enjoy their life and what they do. And that's what I do, too. So share the love a little bit, I guess.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing this evening? As always, it's your host, Mr. Kip Litzy, coming to you live tonight, 7:30 Central Time. You know what time it is. It is Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly. If this is your first time tuning into the show, hang on for the ride. I think you're going to enjoy it. If you're a return offender, I like to call you, thank you for coming back to the show. We love having you here. You know, Kicker Unmasked Live, we do all sorts of things on the show. You never know what's going to happen. It's truly live. It's very loosely scripted. We kind of just wing it with a topic, and tonight is going to be fun. A little bit later on the show, we've got a special guest joining us right here in the studio. He'll be coming on here in about 15 minutes, and we got a whole host of characters that are going to be coming in remotely. We're going to talk about the great Las Vegas Taco Festival. More importantly, the Showdown, which was the huge show that was in Las Vegas a couple weeks back, was in conjunction with SEMA. It actually ran right after the SEMA show. But the cool part is Steve Barber and his clan of merry men, they were actually at the SEMA show. They had some fun, and we're going to show it, and we're going to talk about it here in just a little bit in the show. So thank you for joining us tonight. If you know, we kind of have a format here we do every night. First part of the show, we reached out to Ramondo Walker. He's the guy who's joining us live here in the studio in just a little bit because he joined us for dinner tonight. You know, we always have this habit of breaking bread together. It's kind of where we do our little loose script meeting, talk, loosen up, get ready for the show at night. And tonight was really special because it gave us a chance to talk to Ramondo and learn a little bit about him. Wonderful man. I'm proud to have him on the show, and we'll get into a little more of that when we get him here in the hot seat. But with that said, you know, tonight we asked what was going to eat, and in charge tonight was Sandy, and she said, I want barbecue. So tonight was Cherokee Strip Barbecue from down the street. Fantastic barbecue. If you're ever in Stillwater, you got to check it out. Living Loud with Andy. Hey, Kip, what's that little speaker beside you? I'm going to get to that in a second, Andy. Good question. We'll cover those in just a minute. I figured there'd be no better time to bring these out and kind of talk about them than a show when we're talking about the heavy hitters of bass. And of course, you already know what this is, Andy. You know. You're just teasing me. So with that said, thank you to Mr. Irby, thank you to Becky and the entire management team, our boss Kevin Campbell and everyone for allowing us to enjoy a little meal together here every night. Like I said, tonight was Cherokee Strips, fantastic meal. That said, we got a little bit of a change up in the lineup here in the studio tonight. If you're used to watching the show, you know it's always myself out here in the camera trying to keep the ship from running into the iceberg. We got Tim behind cameras, and he is back with us tonight. He was out last week, so we're glad to have him back. We actually have some close-up work on need from him tonight, so Tim is a master at that. It's almost like he reads Ernie's mind, so I'm really glad to have Tim back in the studio. Back behind, we've got Ernie, as always, on the main switcher. We got JW. He's back, so we're glad to have JW in the studio. But Bill Frog's out. He decided he wanted to take a little bit of vacation. He's actually doing some family things, so Bill's out of the studio. So that means we have yours truly, Sandy. Give me a wave, Sandy. Sandy's actually camera shy. She doesn't like getting on the camera. And if any of you have watched the shows up to now, or if you want to go back and find them in the feed, you got to go find the show where we talked with Sandy about the POP. You know, we say that. We're talking about shirts and hats and hoodies and the coffee mugs and all the cool stuff we do. Man, that's not the only thing she does, but Sandy does a great job at that. And we actually did a show with Sandy, and I'm here to tell you, she was great on camera. So even though she doesn't like being in front of camera and she doesn't want to be on camera, I'm going to tell you straight up, she was great on camera. And actually, 2022, I know there's some new POP that she's working on. When we got that stuff ready to talk about, we'll get Sandy back on the show live. We're going to talk about POP. She says she doesn't want to be on the camera, but we'll talk her into it. We'll take her to Da Vinci's. I think Da Vinci's will get her in the studio, and she'll actually do that. So thanks for dinner. Ernie, thank you for that quick camera shot back there. So that's the team we have on tap for tonight. The nightly contest. I always like to cover this early in the show in case you're new and you don't know about it, or if you are a return offender and you just forgot about it. But Ernie, if you will, real quick, will you bring up my laptop as an asset so I can go through these real fast? The first thing you want to notice is to get into any of the contests at Kicker, you're going to go to kicker.com. There it is, right there, kicker.com. Let's jump over tab. Kicker.com/UM Weekly is always the link that we use for the nightly contest. Now, there are some times where we have an issue, maybe we have to change things, we'll do what we have to do, but 99.9% of the time, it's going to be kicker.com/UM Weekly. Go hit that link. Now, that link goes live at 7:15. So if you're new to the show, when we do what we call the pre-roll, when that stuff's running, you can go ahead and hit that link and do that even before the show starts at 7:30. But we keep this link live until 8:30, and whenever I speak of times on the show here, it's always Central Standard Time, so keep that in mind. We close this link down right at 8:30, and then we announce the winners at or before 9 o'clock here on the show. At least that's our goal. That's what we try to do. I actually brought this page up 53 minutes before the show started. That's why you see the timer there. It says 53 minutes left to enter the contest, because we take it live right at 7:15. Tonight's grand prize winner that we're going to pull, you'll get yourself a BF100 Bluetooth speaker, some of those awesome Kicker koozies to keep your favorite beverage nice and chilled while you're watching the show or doing your fun things on the weekend. And you're going to get a limited edition Kicker Unmasked Live t-shirt. Understand those t-shirts, the only way you can win or even buy, you can't even buy them, you got to win them. The Kicker Unmasked Live shirts, you got to do them right here on the show every Tuesday night. So that's first place grand prize tonight. Second place is going to be the Tabor 2 on-ear Bluetooth wireless headphones. Going to give you a set of those Kicker koozies as well, and of course a t-shirt. And last but not least, we're going to give you EB200 wireless earbuds, the Kicker koozies, and the Unmasked Live t-shirt. So that's the nightly contest. We run it every Tuesday night. We kick it off at 7:15. So if this is your first time to the show, make a mental note of that. So while you're watching the pre-roll from 7:15 to 7:30, man, you can go right over, open another window, enter that contest, come right on back to the show and see what's going on in the pre-roll. Along with that, we're in a habit. We try to run a longer running contest. We've reached out and done some great contests with the gentleman from MTI Enclosure. We recently did one with MBE from MBE Enclosure, and we like to do a little bit bigger of a prize. And because we were running some other bigger prizes with some really, I think, high celebrity people, we didn't have an opportunity to run our Kicker 20K giveaway. We announced and promoted to everyone out there that once we hit 20,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, we were going to do a giveaway. Well, we hit that number, and there are already contests in the pipeline, so we had to hold it back. So we actually launched this contest. We were like 23,500. It was in that range of subscribers. But this contest is going on right now. You have 20 days left to enter. So you've got from now, 20 days from now, we close and rock out the contest at midnight the night before, so Monday night. And then on that Tuesday, we actually, on the show, will announce the live winner of this. This is going to be a fantastic Christmas present for someone. I encourage you to go enter. At this point, we've got 8,395 entries. And basically, you're going to get your choice of KS components and KS coaxials for whatever you need to fit in your car. So you'll get to choose the size that you need, KS front, KS rear. We're going to get you a single 12-inch L7R loaded enclosure. And then we're going to get you a wiring kit, and we're going to get you an amp. Now, the amp or amps is kind of an open question right now. You know, the availability of product is really, as I call it on the show every week, I call it a dumpster fire. Source, chips, shipping, it's all a mess out there. So we really don't know what we'll have in stock at this point to give the winner of this contest, but I can guarantee you it'll be a great amplifier. It'll either be a 5-channel amplifier to run that whole system with, or we will give you a monoblock amplifier and a 4-channel amplifier to run that whole system with. So it'll be one of the two. It'll really depend on what we've got in stock and what we can wrangle up for you. So keep that in mind. That contest is going on right now. You can enter anytime. This contest is open 24 hours a day. It's open for another 20 days. We shut it down at midnight in 20 days from now. We'll announce the winner on that Tuesday show, which will be the 21st, if I've got it right. Is that right, Ernie? We'll announce the winner for this one on the 21st. Is that right? I think it is. If I've got it wrong, I apologize. And then last... Oh, so we'll announce this on the 28th. And, you know, Ernie's talking about, I can hear him. Keep in mind, we have a show today, or this Tuesday. We got a show next Tuesday. We got a show the following Tuesday. That runs us up to the 21st. That's why the 21st is in my head. We are all going to be out of the studio on the 28th for all of the obvious reasons. We are going to go and enjoy the Christmas holiday and the New Year with friends and family. But we will have a pre-recorded short show. We will be running on the 28th at the 7:30 time slot, and in that time slot, we will have our little bit of show. We're going to announce the winner of the 20K giveaway contest in that show, and there's going to be a special surprise. You're going to want to tune in and watch that show. It won't be a full 90-minute show. It'll probably end up being more like 25 to 30 minutes, but it is a holiday edition that we are going to record and have in the can, and we will run a show on the 28th. It's just, we're not going to be here. It'll be the first Kicker Unmasked Live that was made live, but we pre-recorded it because we're going to be enjoying the holiday with friends and family. So keep that in mind. The other thing I want to cover here, if Ernie has got my screen up, and this actually came from a question that was in the feed before the show was starting. If you guys ever have any questions about Kicker, man, I can't encourage you enough, kicker.com. I mean, you need to go put it in your favorites, you know, flag it, make it into your favorites box, whatever you need to do. And the question that was in the feed, a gentleman that was having an issue with a Kicker product. He said he had it for about 2 months and he was having some issues, and he was asking, showing concern about warranty or things like that. First thing, you ever need anything, come to this kicker.com webpage and go right here, support and tech, right here. It's real easy. Click that link. You're going to go down here and here's a contact link. Contact us. We talk about these numbers on the show all the time, but I'll bring this up. There's a mailing address if you want to send something in mail. There's a shipping address if you need to do a return. There's a phone numbers available right there, a fax number. Yeah, we still have a fax. And then back down here a little further, there's technical support. And that number is 405-624-8583, or you can also call 800-256-0808. That's the number down here. With cell phones today, there really is no such thing as a long distance call anymore, but we do have an 800 number. If you're in a situation, you can do a toll-free call to us. Use either one of those numbers. If you have any issue, whether it's a pre-sale question, an installation question, or an after-the-fact question, like something doesn't sound right, I did something, I don't know what's going on, the first thing we want you to do is reach out and talk to technical support. The number one reason why people have problem with speakers, subwoofers, is incorrectly set gains. Guys, you run your amplifiers into clipping, you're gonna damage a speaker from anybody. It doesn't matter. Clipping is the enemy to speakers. And so I highly encourage you, you got a kicker product, you don't need to ask if it's under warranty. If you bought it from an authorized kicker dealer, every single kicker product carries a minimum of a 1-year warranty. Speakers, subwoofers, amplifiers, if you purchase a kicker amplifier and you do it with a kicker wire kit at the same time, that goes out to 3 years. We do 3-year on the electronics. So yes, there is a kicker warranty on all the products, including the gentleman in the feed who asked the question. So what you need to do is get your invoice, write down the problems you got, give a call to customer support. Even if you call and talk to warranty, they're going to send you to customer support for us because we want to find out, why did you experience the problem? They can help you solve a lot of problems. Once they get the problem solved, then they're going to go through the process, get you an RA number, and walk you through the whole steps to get that product back to Kicker and get it warrantied out. Now, you can always go back to your original retailer where you purchased from, whether it was a brick and mortar store or an online retailer, but we never leave you out of the loop. If you want to come direct to Kicker for your warranty concerns, you always can, and this is the page where you can always gather the information. Just go to kicker.com, hit the tech support number or the support tech link at the top, and it brings up all this information. So I wanted to cover that. It was actually a question in the feed tonight, and you know, a lot of times those questions in the feed really drive the things that I talk about here on the show. Next thing I want to bring up real fast is events. You know, we're here at the end of the year, things are kind of wound down, but if you ever want to know what events, hey, new notification. This is my Facebook page, so there's going to be lots of stuff coming up there. But you can always go over here, go to events, just go to Facebook, find Kicker, it's easy. Go to the events page, and any events that we've got going on, they're always listed here in the events page. A lot of people don't know that we are actually the title corporate sponsor for Bass Wars. Billy Temple, Jimmy Pittman, Jordan Acosta. I know I don't know all the names, but he has a whole team over there running the Bass Wars organization, and we're proud to be the corporate title sponsor for Bass Wars. They are now linked with us, so basically their events will be showing up in our feed as well. So if you ever want to know what's going on with Bass Wars, that stuff also shows up on our event feed. And if you want to know what's going on directly with Kicker, it's always going to be on our Facebook events feed. As I said, this is the end of the year, so events for us is kind of winding down. They'll start spinning back up about February. We were just having a conversation about that earlier, and there's going to be a ton of events coming up. Hopefully we all get to attend them and have a good time. Along with that, I have to give a shout out to Living Loud with Andy McGill. Andy is a fantastic gentleman. He loves solving problems. New notification. I got people blowing up my inbox here apparently. We get that out of there. He started the Kicker Club a little over a year ago. He has now exceeded 11,000 subscribers to that club. It is, I would call, the hot spot for anyone who is a Kicker fan and products. Go check it out. A lot of us, including the guys in the research and design and sales, they spend some time in this group. So if you got a question, you want to hang out, you want to chill, you ask questions, this is a great place to do it. And Andy and his team is always there to answer questions. And it doesn't matter if you're not running Kicker gear, you got a question, they're always there to help you out. But it is focused primarily on Kicker. If you're a Kicker fan, add this to your feed. You need to get this one in. Of course, we did mention Bass Wars, so keep that in mind. You can always go hit the Bass Wars link, look at Bass Wars on their page. I had to bring that up. Man, my Facebook's blowing up here tonight. I need to turn those notifications off. And then last but not least, I got to show this again. And I actually got some great feedback on this from a lot of people. And I didn't do it for that. I mean, I'm a genuine, I come from the 80s and 90s, which I like to consider kind of like the birthplace of high performance car audio. You're getting big, getting loud, having fun. And I still have, it's packed away in a box right now, but I have the original Techmaster PEB CD that I bought. And I want to say it came out, and I could be wrong here, guys, but it was like 91 or 92. And I've got a couple other discs that actually came out from Techmaster PEB as well. But this one was probably one of my favorite CDs to demo my car when it was big bass and having fun and shaking the mirror and having just having a good time. And on other cars too, I'd use this test CD a lot. If it's possible to wear out a compact disc, this would be the compact disc that I could have wore out. I used it a lot. And here about, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, I happened to notice it was in my, I think it was in my Facebook feed, I noticed that Techmaster PEB was coming out with a new remastered original. So it's basically the original disc. It's been remastered, and then he's got, and I forget the number, so I apologize, but it's either another 7 or 9 additional tracks that he's added to it. It's a 2 CD collection now instead of just a single disc. If you bought in early, which I did because I had to, I actually got an autographed copy from Techmaster PEB, which to me is a big deal. That's a, I love that. I'm going to take that CD and the stuff that came with it, and I'm actually going to put it in a shadow box and hang it in my office. But I'm going to turn around and probably buy another disc, and that'll be the disc that I rip from. And if you do have a CD player to play it in, you can do that. But I got to give a shout out to these guys again. They make some fantastic stuff for demoing. I highly encourage you, if you're into bass and SPL and having fun with your audio system, go to Techmaster PEB. It's real simple. It's just techmasterpeb.com. Go check it out. The CDs are still available. I think the autographed ones are done. I think that was just a pre-order thing. But that aside, fantastic disc. It's remastered. It's from that early 90s disc, and then he's got an additional 7 to 9 tracks. I highly encourage you to go check out this CD. I can't say enough good things about it. I had a wonderful experience growing up and demoing systems with Techmaster PEB. So with that said, Ernie, if you want to bring it on back to the house, I love that effect when we do that and it just kind of disappears into there. That's pretty cool. So we've got a great show on tap for tonight. That kind of covers all the housekeeping, but I'm going to see if Sandy or JW are on their feet tonight. Living Loud with Andy, 1-year anniversary of Kicker Club today. 1-year anniversary today. Congratulations, Andy. I thought you said something that it was a year, a couple weeks back, so maybe it was premature, or maybe I was confusing that you hit the 11,000 subscribers. Either way, 1-year anniversary, Kicker Club, Living Loud with Andy, Mr. Andy McGill. Thank you, sir, for being here on Tuesday night, and thank you for running one of the coolest clubs on Facebook for Kicker fans. I certainly appreciate you. Chris Hanley, can I run a front stage component set using just the Key 200.4? Chris, you 100% absolutely can. That Key 200.4 is set up to do double duty. And you program, I use the word literally program because it's a DSP, but there's just switches on them that you set. You can run a Key 200.4 in 4-channel mode, full range, meaning rear and front. So you can run rear speakers and front speaker like a conventional 4-channel amp, and it'll do the whole Key DSP tuning setup for that. Or where the Key really shines, and I do mean this sincerely, is if you have components in the front of your car, set that Key 200.4 up in bi-amp mode, and that's where channels 1 and 2 basically run your tweeters, channels 3 and 4 run your mid-range or mid-bass driver, mid-range/mid-bass driver, and it does the time alignment, it does the equalization, it does all that cool work for you, and yes, components absolutely shine on a Key 200.4. I have read a glowing review after glowing review, and I've had conversation with people. Right now, in a lot of the newer trucks, what's really hot is 6x9 on the door, and then up in the dash, it's got that location for that 2 3/4 to 3.5 inch size driver. I affectionately call it a middler, so it's a mid-range/tweeter. RKSS, I'm gonna get the model number wrong. I think it's 26904. I could be wrong. Don't sweat me on that. But that is the 6x9 component set with our 2 3/4 inch middler driver. That middler runs like flat out like 18 kilohertz. I mean, unless your hearing is perfect, you're never going to know that it's not sounding like a tweeter. But it also carries a lot of that crucial mid-range information and gets it up off that floor. You run that component setup with a Key 200.4, sounds fantastic. So yeah, I can't recommend it enough. If you're going to run a Key on a component set it into bi-amp mode and do that. And then if you need to power your rear speakers, run it off the deck, pick you up another Key, make your choice. I know some people run components front and rear. Nothing wrong with that. A lot of times people just want to put coaxes in the back, but people do components? Run 2 keys. Set one up in the back, set one up in the front. Just set it. You have to set one up first, turn it off, then run the setup routine for the other one as well. But works great. I highly recommend it. Travis Sapp. How you doing, Travis? Thanks for tuning in tonight. I am putting together a complete kicker system. I have everything I need except a unicorn that I can't find. The KXA 400.4 or IQ 500.4. I can't find either one of them. Y'all have either one lying around that I can get. Well, Travis, we've talked about this on the show before, and I have no issue readdressing these questions going forward, because if you're a new viewer, you didn't hear the question before. The pandemic, COVID, everything that happened last year was a reset year for us. What we do as a brand is we don't change everything at the same time, but we may come out with this product right here, and we may run this product for 2, 3, or 4 years as a current product. And then 2 or 3 or 4 years down the line, maybe our engineers come up with a way to build it better, a way to use newer components or technology, whatever it may be. At 2, 3, 4 years, we usually roll or upgrade a product. Last year, in January, was the year that we were supposed to roll and upgrade KX, and IQ was supposed to be rolled and upgraded to something else as well. Unfortunately, due to what I affectionately call and mean from the bottom of my heart, the dumpster fire that is going on right now globally when it comes to chips and parts and capacitors and you name it and everything. It's why there's 30,000 plus trucks sitting over at the Louisville Speedway because Ford can't get the chips to make the computers to make them fully functional trucks yet. I mean, it's that crazy. We're not immune to that either. So because of that, the new products that were supposed to come out and replace those two that you're talking about, they're just late to market and there's nothing we can do about it. Our engineers are constantly scouring, trying to find parts so that we can get things built and get them out in the marketplace. So what we've made a conscious decision of is when it comes to electronics, because that's the toughie, is we're focusing on trying to keep everything out there that are the core or the best selling, the most asked for amplifiers right now in our lineup that we have, and new product will come when the parts get a little more available. So I hate to tell you, unfortunately for a KX or an IQ, no, there's none here at Kicker. I mean, there might be one or two amplifiers, like I've got a couple KX, you'll see one here, I got a KXA 2400 that we use here for demoing. But as far as new amplifiers and boxes, no, they just don't exist. Check your dealer, check the Kicker dealer locator. It is possible some of our dealers have those products in stock. As a matter of fact, if I was to, and I'm not trying to play dealer favorites here, so please don't think that, but I do know that Jimmy Ham from Pro Audio Center, you can look him up online, Pro Audio Center, and they're over in Mississippi. I know he is a huge Kicker dealer, and I know he at one point had a pretty good stock of KX amplifiers. You might look them up and reach out to Pro Audio Center, talk to Jimmy or Vicky or Peyton over there, and they can probably let you know because I know if anyone's going to have any, it's probably him. So check him out. Good question, Travis. Thank you for asking. Jesse Steinbach installed a key 200.4 in my truck on components today. Just amazing. Jesse Steinbach, thank you for that. And that's what we hear from everyone who experiences a key. You set it, you run the setup routine, and you know you get it sounds crazy, but you know that algorithm that's in that amplifier to do what it does was really designed by two people, Mr. Steve Irby and another gentleman here by the name of Joe Gross. And not that I expect anybody to know Joe, but you go back into the early 80s and all through the heyday of IASCA and USAC, you know, the beginnings of car audio competition where sound quality and installation quality were really the kings of what made things happen. Joe Gross is an avid winning competitor from those days, and Joe puts his fingers on a lot of the tuning for our OEM products that we manufacture and in things like this. And that algorithm that's in our key, Joe and Steve, they come up with that. It works fantastic. I jokingly tell people that they say, well, how would a Kicker car sound? Well, if you take a key and you run it through and let it do its thing, that's like having Steve Irby and Joe Gross sit in your car and tune it for you because the computer does it to the target curve that they've designed. So I'm glad you've had a great experience with it. Anyone who's had a key has nothing but glowing recommendations and love it, and I'm glad that you're getting great sounding audio in your car using the key. Thank you so much, Jesse, for that comment. You got any more? Keep them coming up here. Lucas Kahn or Kuhn? Looks like Kuhn. Lucas, if I butchered your last name, sir, I apologize. Hey, Kip, is the 2017 CVX going to get an update soon? I don't want to mislead you, Lucas. I wouldn't say it's getting an update soon. The entire pandemic situation over the last 18 months has forced all companies who make anything for consumer goods to reevaluate, do we keep making what we've got? Is it time to come out with something new? Because right now, it's hard enough trying to make the current products that a company has, much less try to come out with something new. So not misleading you, right now I do not have any inside information I could share with you currently on an update to the CVX, but I will tell you this, we are always working on cool new products as much as we can. We've got CES coming up. Now we're not going to be there as a company, but we are going to have products that we're launching to our dealers and our reps. And when we're ready to talk about it, and it'll be, before it's in our dealers, you'll know about it. We're going to talk about it right here on Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly. So always look for special editions of the show coming up. We would have talked about lots of new product at this point under normal circumstances, but it's just hard to get new gear out right now. So stay tuned. We will always talk about new product here on the show, Lucas. Mike Craner, I just installed the KS Midler 6x9 coax, KS 6x9s, and powered them with the key amp, and the customer couldn't be happier. Hey, Mike, I don't want to give a shout out because it doesn't matter what the other brand was, but I know you sent me a text earlier today, and you actually had sold this customer another competitor's gear, It was in the vehicle. He said he wasn't happy with it, so he came back and you guys did the swap out and went to the KS and you went to the key amplifier. And thank you for posting that up here because I did ask you to reach out to me. I'm glad the customer is happy about that. You know, the key 200.4 and the KS components, I've just seen one after home run with that product, that if someone's going to do that and set that up, I've never seen anyone get disappointed with that. So Mike, thank you for showing that in the feed. Thank you for reaching out early. I appreciate it. Jay Dizzle, I'd love to see an updated revamped XPL line in the future. Just a thought. Jay Dizzle, I don't want to say that the L7X is XPL, because it's not. XPL was really a unique speaker in its time frame, and unfortunately, no one seemed to understand it during its time frame. People who knew what XPL was absolutely loved it. It was ultra efficient. That woofer could do a whole lot on a very little amount of power. But unfortunately, people thought that because it was ultra efficient meant it also had this super long throw and would do the other thing. It wasn't designed for that. It was designed to give you a ton of output and not take a lot of power doing it. You never know. Something like an XPL might come back in the future, especially as, you know, with electric cars and things like that. A really efficient woofer like an XPL, but maybe tuned a little bit more for today's little bit longer throw environment might be something cool. Always stay tuned. That's a good idea. Thanks, Jay Dizzle. Appreciate you being on the show. Everyone, as you're tuned in, and hold that comment up there, I'm going to get to that. Just keep in mind, folks, if you could do us one big favor, and it's not, we don't monetize this channel, and we never will. It's not about that. This is a two-way communication channel really for us. We get to show you great products and demos and have guests on, and we're always looking for ideas from you. What do you want to see? What kind of new products would you like to see? What updates? What upgrades? All these questions you throw in the feed, we go back and read these and pull them together because it's great information. It's us talking together. It's the brand asking you questions and you letting the brand know what you like, and that's great. But if you're enjoying what we do here on Unmasked Live Weekly, if you could do us a favor, you don't have to do it right now, but on the way out the door tonight, if you could smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to our YouTube channel, that does a lot of great things for us. Is it lets us show our bosses, hey, they like the content, they like what we're doing, they've got great ideas, and it lets us have a little, you know, leverage and getting things done here in the studio. So do us a huge favor, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button. It really goes a long way for us here in the studio to keep things rolling here. We've made it through a year. We're looking through it. We're looking to do another year and then another year because we're having fun doing this. So thank you for doing that. Kip, what's the woofer to your right? Just for last, 8988. We're going to get to that in a little bit. Stay tuned. Bill Wiedenmeyer, or Wiedenmoyer. Hopefully I got that right, Bill. I apologize either way. Do you know what the crossover point is between the speakers in the Shtnonm? Oh, that is such a good question. Bill, here's what I'm going to say. I actually asked that question because there was a gentleman who asked me behind the scenes, he wanted to know, and that gentleman was actually Robert Hi-Fi Vega. And what it is, sometimes people have a notion that if they see a crossover point or they see a slope, that those numbers dictate to them whether something sounds good or it doesn't. So we don't publish the crossover slope or the crossover point on those drivers, but I have reached out to R&D to get that information because enough people have been asking for it that I think we want to at least provide it, especially if you're looking to do an active setup where you want to get an idea of where should I start on a high pass for the tweeter and where should I start for a low pass on the mid-range, you know, things like that. So the information's not on the website currently. I have asked the question. We're going to pull that information together, and it'll probably be posted to the website first because that is a good question, and I know why you want to know it. Off the top of my head, if I had to guess, a tweeter that size, we're always in the habit of typically crossing those over around 3.5, but it also depends on the slope. There are some products we've built in the past where it's crossed over at 5K, but it's only a 6 dB per octave crossover. Or it's crossed over at 3.5, and if we do that, it's usually a 12 or an 18 dB per octave crossover, because as you go lower in frequency on a tweeter, you got to use a much steeper slope to keep that low stuff from destroying the diaphragm. So I don't have that information, Bill. I have asked the question, and when we get something kind of concise and detailed, it'll be on the website, and we will announce it here on the Unmasked Show, because that is a good question. I know why you want to know that. So thank you for that question, Bill. Appreciate you tuning in and watching the show. Regular Guy Audio. I see this guy all the time in other feeds. RGA, good to see you, man. Thanks for joining the show tonight. Someone asked me recently if they should buy a Kenwood sub. I said, you spelled kicker wrong. You know, we are blessed to be one of the oldest brands in car audio when it comes to high performance subwoofers. You know, and I got to give props where props are due. If you look at what the car audio scene as you know it today is and who kind of pioneered it and kicked it off and grew it to where you see today, there's really two brands that kind of fired it and grew it. And that'd be Rockford Fosgate. They were founded in 1972, or at least Jim Fosgate founded Fosgate Audionics in 1972. And then Kicker, founded in 1973. Rockford Fosgate is not as old as Kicker because Rockford Fosgate didn't come along until later. It was actually about 5 knuckleheads that got together. They put their lunch money together and they bought the Fosgate amplifier, the punch circuitry, and a bunch of stuff that didn't work from Jim Fosgate, and they started Rockford Fosgate as you know it today. But still, I got to give props where props is due. And so between Fosgate, which became Rockford Fosgate, and Kicker, you really have the 2 powerhouses in the U.S. that really pushed and promoted car audio as you know today. And of course, there's tons of other companies that have spun off over the years. So great question. Hopefully you enjoy that, and hopefully that answers that question. Hopefully. Kip, do you suppliers do trade? I didn't see that. Something about trading on subwoofers. We don't do trade-in on subwoofers, but I don't want to answer that question because when it comes to warranty things, there are some things I know our warranty people do. So if it's a question you got about a warranty sub or something, my recommendation is always call in and talk to customer support, our tech support, because there are some things they can do on that front. They do it on amplifiers too. Like I know, for example, Mike Craner sent in a couple old amplifiers and they were not able to be repaired anymore, and he was given the option of, as basically almost like a core, okay, if you want, we'll keep this amplifier, and then for X number of dollars, you can upgrade to a different amplifier. And it was a very economical upgrade if he wanted to do it. I think Mike decided not to do that. He wanted to keep the amps as they were. And he's actually asked me to go get them for him. So shout out to you, Mike. I haven't forgot. I just got to go get them for you. So that question on trade-in stuff, no, we don't typically do trade-in stuff. But when it comes to warranty issues, I know our guys work with you really well. So maybe that's the answer to your question. So with that said, I'm looking up at the clock. We've got a whole lot of things on the show we want to get out here for tonight. I don't want to try to slow this down any further. There are tons of questions coming in. Sandy, if you find a good one that fits, throw it up. We'll try to answer it. But what I want to do right now is I have got to, and I'm going to skip it for tonight, folks, because I'm looking at the clock and we're going to miss it. Just to let you know, this is a list, and as you can see, but it's 2 side-by-side columns. There is a ton of new product since last week's show that has come in, been QA'd, QC'd, and sent out to our dealers. I've been doing this list for the last several shows because with the pandemic and with the shortage and availability of things, it's nice to know what's available. It's a long list. If there's something in particular you're looking for, maybe hit Sandy or JW up in the feed and we can go through the list. And I just don't want to go through it tonight because I'm watching the clock and I don't want to burn any more time because I want to get our guests on board. But a whole bunch of stuff's come in, a whole bunch of stuff's gone out. Hit kicker.com. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, always use the dealer locator and look for your favorite dealer. We do not keep stock here for kicker.com. We fill all of our dealers' requests first. So just because we show it's out of stock doesn't mean it's not in a dealer. So definitely go check that out. So with that said, I'm looking at the clock. The first thing I want to do is before I get to my guests on screen, I want to bring in my guest who came in all the way from Lawton, Oklahoma. And I'm looking at him off camera here and pointing at him. He's actually sitting at the table where we had dinner tonight. This is Mr. Ramondo Walker. And when he found out that we were doing the show tonight, he reached out directly to me through Facebook, Instagram, and said, hey, would it be okay if I came up and was live on the show in the studio? And I said, well, sure, why not?
How's it going, Kip?
Give me that.
Oh, yeah.
How you doing? Have a seat,
I'm
Ramondo.
doing good. I'm doing good,
You
man.
doing good?
Oh, yeah.
So Ramondo's here with us on the show tonight. Now, and again, tonight's show, understand, folks, this isn't a brand show tonight. It really never is. I mean, we talk about kicker gear, we talk about applique, we talk about a lot of things. So understand, Ramondo has the only thing Ramondo owns, I think, that's kicker is the free set of earbuds I just gave him tonight that's in his head. So
hey, I like these too.
You like those?
Yeah, they're pretty nice. I like them.
What we do, we have guests here in the studio. We have body packs so we can hear all the guests who come in on the show. And so just to make sure everything's clean and sanitary, we just give every single person a brand new set of earbuds so they can use their body pack. And when they leave, they're welcome to take the earbuds with them. So those are yours, man.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Definitely. Thank
you.
you, Kip. Appreciate it.
You know, we spent a little bit of time talking Ramondo. Before I get into the bulk of the show, I got to say this. Ramondo is a serviceman. He's down in Lawton, Oklahoma. He actually hails from Chicago.
Yep, Chicago, Illinois.
Coming up on 20 years in the service.
Yep.
And I mean this sincerely from the bottom of my heart because my dad and my dad's dad and my dad's dad on both sides of the family, they all were in the military services. And I have to say, thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It means
Kip.
a lot that there are men and women like you who step up and stand out to keep this country safe and allow us to be who we are.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I mean that.
Thank you.
So I had to say that because that really touches my heart and it means something. So keep it together, Kip. So
I see it in your eyes, Kip.
when it's heartfelt, you can't change it.
Hey, you can't blame me.
You can't change it. So that really meant a lot to me when I found, because I didn't know that until tonight. So I had to give a shout out to Ramondo and to all men and women who are in any of the services for this country. God bless you. So Why the heck are you here?
First off, I wanted to see the Kicker headquarters for the first time. I've never seen it before. And you know, like I say, when I first started car audio, the first speaker that I had was a CVR, and that was the first speaker that I debuted on YouTube. So I was like, why not come to the Kicker show and look at the place that I started my first speaker with on YouTube?
You know what's crazy? Ramondo came in. He got a motel room tonight, so he doesn't have to rush back to Lawton, because Lawton's what, 2.5 hours?
About 2.5 hours.
About 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
So he drove in for the show tonight. When he's done tonight, whether it's tonight or if he's got time in the morning, how work it, I would like to give him a quick tour. He hasn't seen the facility. He's only been into the studio, and we've kind of wowed him with just what's here in the studio. And there were a couple times I could tell he was flabbergasted. Literally flabbergasted.
You got me thinking.
And the thing is, we haven't even taken him through the building. He's just in the studio.
Man.
So we get a chance, I want to give you a little quick tour through the place. Okay. You got to see how we do things, because I think if you're impressed with this, man, this is low-hanging fruit.
Oh, man.
You haven't seen anything yet. So, but Ramondo's here because a couple weeks back, I think it's 3 weeks now. Has it been 3 weeks?
Yeah, about 3 weeks.
I think it's 3, because we pushed this show out because we wanted to do a whole show dedicated to this.
Yeah.
Is our good friend Steve Barber, and I mean that sincerely. I've known Steve now for probably a little over 4 years. I've been to a bunch of his shows. I've broke bread with him. There's nothing more. I mean, you can't maintain a svelte figure like this and not enjoy meals. And I love spending time with people, enjoying a meal, having a few drinks, because that's when you get to know the person. And Steve's the real deal. He's an original. I know you are.
Steve, hey, if it wasn't for Steve, I wouldn't be here right now. So thank you, Steve.
So Steve, it's your fault. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. But Steve Barber actually reached out to us, and we worked with him on a couple. The first thing that Steve had is Steve was like, hey, I've got this show. And I've been to, it's called the Showdown. He used to have it at CES, and I've been to 2 of them. And then he's like, okay, what do you guys like? Well, we're pulling out of CES. We see more value in going to the SEMA show, so that's where we're going to focus our energy. And Steve's like, well, I kind of think the same thing. And there's this thing called the Great Las Vegas Taco Festival, and there's music and all. So he's like, he said, would Kicker be interested in being the title sponsor for the show? I'm like, yeah, we'll do that. So we did. We title sponsored that. But what's even more, I don't want to call it more important, but maybe more cool, is that Steve worked with the SEMA organization, and he got a space outside between a couple of the buildings, probably the South Hall and the Central Hall, if I remember right. I think that's where it was located.
Yep, it was the South Hall. Yep,
there you go.
South Hall. It's so big. It's so big.
It's huge, isn't it?
First time being there. It's pretty big.
Imagine walking all 3 of those halls.
I did it.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
But he actually was at the SEMA show, and Ramondo was one of the special guests that Steve invited down, because you had, I think you're working on it now. You tore it down, you're working on it.
Well, I mean, I have a new project coming up.
Okay, new project, we'll call it that.
Yeah, new stuff.
So Ramondo was one of the lucky gentlemen who went out and got to represent the high performance, big SPL, big bass community out there, and it was all courtesy of Steve Barber. So Ramondo, we got you here in the studio.
Yep.
But we can't do this show without the one and only Steve Barber from, and I don't get fired for this, it's always Shtnonm. So Steve Barber, JW, Sandy, bring him up in the feed if you would, kind people. Hey, Steve. I love the Santa hat. I don't even think it's early. I'm jealous. I wonder where mine is.
It's not early. All December.
As long as you wait till Thanksgiving dinner is over, you can go put up the Christmas lights, and I'm okay with it. Man, if you're putting up Christmas lights before Thanksgiving even has its run, come on, man.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
But I like Christmas too. I get it.
Yeah.
So Steve, real quick, before we bring in the other guests that are here, real quick, tell us about how you got involved in doing what you call the Showdown, which is your show. And I want to say this for the show. I've been to it twice. Unfortunately, I couldn't go this year because of travel restrictions due to COVID here at Kicker. But I'll say this, and looking at the pictures and the video, I think it's proof of it. You have got on the hook here, and if you keep massaging it and maturing it and doing what you're doing, you've got what I sincerely think is the slamology of the West Coast going on in your back pocket, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, to be a show that caliber, that size, to have 1,000 bass cars would be amazing. And hopefully we get there, little by little. It'll happen as long as we keep plugging away, and more people make the trip and they see how fun it is to be in Vegas for the weekend. It's not just the show, but after the show, the Fremont Street, having all the bass heads together and all the parties, and just having a good time. It was the best part of it, really. And the show's almost like a bonus, to come and get demos and all that stuff. But Yeah, I mean, the Showdown started like this was the eighth. This was the eighth one. This is number 8. It basically just it was always been around CES, and it was because CES used to have demo cars. You used to be able to go inside the halls and get a demo from Kicker, Sony, Pioneer, whatever. They all had a car there that was doing like, I mean, it was loud back then. And you got demos. And then I think it was Scott with RE one year got really loud, and Chip Foose was not really having it. I guess he was filming part of his show or something. And that was the end of audio demos at CES. So I think that was in 03. I mean, it was a long time ago. So, you know, going to that show every year and getting those demos, I miss that. So part of the Showdown was to try to get demos back around the CES show. Basically, that's how it started, or that's why it started. Yeah.
I know that the 2 years, I can't say last year because of the whole COVID thing, but prior to that, I attended the 2 shows prior to that. And great show, man. I know you held them. I keep wanting to say Texas Station, but I know that's not it. What casino did you use?
That's what it was.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I for some reason I keep thinking Texas Station, but I thought I was wrong. So I thought I was wrong, but it turns out I was right. But yeah, great show. I think you got a winner on your hands there, and I'm excited that you got to move it to the SEMA. That you actually had some space at SEMA and got to demo for there. And then you had the huge show that right after that, that week. I mean, SEMA's over Friday, and you had that show Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is the Showdown. And from the looks of it, it looks like it was a great show.
Yeah, we had a solid turnout. You know, being the first year at this time slot, I wasn't sure how it was going to pan out, but it was just as big as the previous Showdown. I think we had a few more cars, but it was really close to about the same size. But it was good. As far as the car audio side goes, I mean, obviously the whole Taco Festival and stuff that was going on was insane. There was so many people there. It was they maxed out capacity each day. So I think it was 12,500 a day. So there was 25,000 people basically came through there on the weekend.
That's a whole
there
bunch
was a lot
of
of people
people.
that got demos that have never seen car audio before, like that. So that was neat.
So I know this is something that you've been championing and wanting to do because you've talked about with me for several years, and I'm glad to see, if, from a personal check the box and accomplishment that you got it done, and I'm very proud of you and happy for you to get that done, and I'm glad that we were able to participate. But as I'm looking at the bottom of the feed here, you've brought along 4 other lucky contestants who had nothing to do better on their Tuesday night than to spend some time with us. So it doesn't matter. We got eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Pick one and introduce them, bring them into the feed. I'm gonna let you do, because I know you have a lot more of a relationship with these guys than I do. I've been blessed to actually meet at least one of these people in person and break bread with him, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. He knows who he is. Pick one, bring them in. Let's get everybody up on the screen.
All right, let's bring Jeff in. We'll start with Jeff.
And hopefully I get the, and it's Calvier. Say your last name for me, Jeff.
Cuvalier.
Cuvalier, thank you. So now I know how to not mess it up. Cuvalier. Jeff, how you doing tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Now, I know that when Steve approached us and wanted Kicker to be involved with this, we were looking to have something unique and different to take to the show, and that's when Jeremy in the back said, hey, I got this guy that's got a pontoon boat that's over the top. And after seeing the pics and videos of it, I got to agree, your pontoon boat is completely over the top. What was it like to take your pontoon boat and be in Las Vegas at SEMA?
It was a boat and a bunch of vehicles, so it was great. It was an SPL boat. I don't think there's many of those out there. No,
I don't know. When it comes to that, I tell you, the only other boat that I know of that is equipped like yours is the, man, I'm going to forget what it's called, but it's the double-decker pontoon boat that lives at Lake Havasu. You probably know which one I'm talking about.
Boom-toon. Yep,
there you go.
The Boom-toon. That's the other Kicker boat.
And that's the one that I know a little bit better. And after seeing yours, I mean, yours is definitely in that same awesome install quality, great caliber. I can't wait to hear it in person because I already know what it sounds like. I've heard the boom tune, so I know yours have to just be off the hook.
It's pretty insane. I mean,
it is. My favorite part about the boat is the seat, the driver's seat.
Right.
So his driver's seat, Kip, is it's a sub enclosure, a fiberglass sub enclosure. Is it 12s?
It's 2 CompQ 12s. I cut the floor out of the boat and built the enclosures in the floor and then built a ported enclosure on top that's actually the seat.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, if you could do me a favor, this is, he thinks he's smarty. There's a guy in the feed named Kevin Litzy. He's got a comment up here. I hate to admit it. He's actually my brother from Ohio. And he says, I like water. So maybe we need to, so Kevin, why don't you put your money where your mouth is, brah? And why don't you come on out and take a ride on the pontoon boat? But just remember, if you're invited, you got to come to the boat. The mountain's not coming to you, brah. Love you, man. Thanks for tuning in tonight.
Come out to Lake Havasu.
My brother Kevin gives me grief all the time. He's like, man, you can do all the cool stuff. You can do this, you do that. I'm like, and I've invited him to stuff, and he's like, but he doesn't show. So if you invite someone to come have fun and they don't show, whose fault is it?
Not ours.
It's not the invitee. It is a pontoon party. So Jeff, thank you for joining us tonight. Let's get the other people into the feed so we can have a good conversation here. Steve, your call. Who's coming up next?
Thank you, guys.
No, Jeff, thank you for joining us.
Let's just go alphabetical order. So Bobby Gately.
Do it. Oh, Bobby Gately. Bobby. How you doing tonight, Mr. Gately?
Anything first and last. Oh, black screen.
Should I turn it? Fix it. There we go.
There you go.
All right, everybody. There you go. All righty. What's cracking?
We just went from a black and white TV to a full wide cinescope. Thank you.
Fat, shiny old dude head. There you go.
Hey, don't talk about fat, shiny heads, or I'll have to get in that boat with you. Come on now, leave it. Don't do that. How you doing tonight, Bobby?
I'm doing pretty good. What's funny is I was, an hour before the show started, I went in and did like the mic check thing and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was like watching the clock, and I had a customer show up to pick up his car. And I went outside, and we were in the parking lot, and we were listening to music and chatting. And I walked back inside, and I sat down, and I was like, oh, I'm late. And then I jumped in, and it wasn't time for us yet. So I was like, lucky me. The last couple times we were on, we were like right first thing in the beginning of the show. So I was like, oh man, I messed the whole thing up. I'm a loser. But anyway, here I am. I'm here at the shop working still. It'll be a little bit of a late one. I'll probably be here till 8:30 or 9 o'clock tonight, but that's how it goes sometimes when you're in a partially retail, partially manufacturing business. So here we are.
Absolutely. And I got two things. I mean, I'm going to ask you. So, of course, he's trying to call back. He says, Saber, we can carpool. Kevin, are you so tight that you're just going to carpool? Why don't you go pick Saber up? Why's he got to carpool with you? Come on, bro. Bobby, I got to give a shout first off. Bobby, we've had Bobby on the show before, and I want to have him on the show again in the future because it doesn't matter how many times some of these guys are on the show, you can't get enough questions and people love talking. But when it comes to to building some fantastic looking and fantastic performing subwoofer boxes, Bobby, you are a rock star in the category.
Thank you so much, sir. It means a lot coming from you.
I'm very sincere about that. So when I reach out to you for a box for a subwoofer that I'm going to have for myself, just remember that, because I think I need you to build me a box. I want a Gately ported kerf box for a 10-inch. Yip, yip, yeehaw. Are you?
For sure.
Jose.
GatelyAudio.com. Right now. It's there.
Gerald, what's the website again, Bobby?
GatelyAudio.com.
Jose, GatelyAudio.com. Go hit him up. Gately is a fantastic enclosure builder. I hate to use the word box because what you guys do, and it's not just you. There are some key guys. There's you and a few other people that I respect for what you do. I hate calling it a box. It's an enclosure. It is something designed to do work. And so I hate a box is what you get your Nikes in. You guys are building enclosures.
Absolutely.
I mean that. Yeah. So Bobby, what I got to ask is, so I know obviously big bass, high output Gately boxes. Were you at the Showdown just to promote that, or did you have a vehicle there as well?
We had a vehicle that we built called the Bloodbath Tahoe. It's a B2 audio vehicle that's owned by a shop called Sinister Car Audio out of the Houston, Texas area. And the owner's name is Brian Rogers. He's a good friend of mine. And he shipped us that Tahoe, and it was it's a crazy story. Our plan was to build some cool door panels and a 415 box, and COVID started. And a month later, he said, "Let's go crazy. Look, hey, I got a little sneaky special guest. Come here, John. I got John Nolte hanging out with me here tonight."
Oh, really? Hey,
yeah,
John.
We're machining some parts for a project he's working on. But I thought I'd drag him in since I had the mic. But
Real quick, Bobby, before you let him go, get John back here real quick. Hey, John, real quick, I got to tell you, I saw the post that your wife posted and everything. Man, I am glad that Kicker was able to make your day. We sincerely appreciate the time you spent on the show, and that's a gift from all of us here to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. No, I use it daily. Seriously, every day. I use that cup.
I keep mine right here at my desk. This is my cool
just
thing.
so everybody,
People
just
keep
so everybody
picking it
knows,
up, and I'm like, dude, that's my drinking cup. Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, the way that works is when we have guests come on the show, and of course we've done the ones we've had for the last year. Sandy, who is a master at POP, we actually got these really cool looking insulated cups, and we actually have their names etched into them. So Bobby's got one, obviously, because he's been on the show. And since you had John there, I had to call him in and give a shout out to John, because John actually, what I read into it, and I mean this sincerely, is John was having a bad day. And, you know, sometimes it's the little things, it's the smile, it's the hey, it's the how you're doing, whatever it is can really change a person's day. And the response from your wife was that you were having a bad day, and getting that from Kicker made your day and turned you around. And that touches me. So, man, I just had to give a shout.
Thank you, you guys.
Thank you, John. We certainly
good
appreciate
to be appreciated. When I received that, I was like, dude, that's cool. They like me.
So we got Bobby in here. He's got the Bloodbath Tahoe, correct?
Yeah, Bloodbath Tahoe. It's a pretty sexy build, and it's got 62 total speakers and 20 some odd thousand watts of power. 6 15-inch subwoofers and lots of acrylic windows and red lights everywhere, and some wild stack fab on the doors and the A pillars and the inside of the box, and it's a lot of fun. It demos all day long and into the night, and we kick all the lights on, and it's a big spectacle. And I took an idea that John did on his Blazer, his old build that he sold a while ago, and we made a steel roof structure with an acrylic window that is removable, and we can open the sunroof of the truck. So when we were in the parade, we had this cute model that Steve knew come out and hang out with us, and we had her standing on the center console of the truck, and she was like blowing a hair trick out the top of the sunroof while we went through the whole SEMA parade, and it was a pretty awesome spectacle. And John had done the same thing 3 or 4 years ago, and that was, it was like, man, John built this truck like this, and it created this opportunity to do this really awesome thing, and I got to relive my buddy's like moment of glory, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. And then out at the SEMA Ignite, like the party area, we had the model doing hair trick videos, and people were taking pictures with her in the truck and stuff, and it was a really good time. We had a lot of fun. And then obviously the Showdown, that's like that's like home for me. I'm hanging out, we're giving demos, we got numerous people coming, getting in and out of the truck, and those are all people that are experienced. At the SEMA Ignite, these are people that are like, they're scared of it, they're bailing out, they're running away, they're jumping back, they're telling you to turn it down, and that's fun, and it's kind of funny. But when you get people that have been in vehicles like Raimundo's and stuff, and they get in and they're like, I just got out of Raimundo's truck, or I just got out of the old Silver or something. And I'm like, okay, well, this isn't quite on that level, but it's loud and it's a lot of fun, and it won't murder you. So
it won't murder you.
Yeah, but Bobby, we had a really good time out there. I got in everybody's truck. I finally got a really good demo in Raimundo's truck, and man, that thing is beautiful. And yeah, man, it's a really good time.
That's good. Bobby, thank you for being here. I want to get everybody on the screen. First, I want to bring in the next guest, but real quick, I'm looking up the clock. We've got about 6 minutes, folks. So if you're new to the show, we do a nightly contest every Tuesday night. We turn it off at 8:30. We announce the winners before 9 o'clock. If you're new to the show, it's kicker.com patreon.com/UM Weekly. Go hit the link. I know that there will be scrolling. There it is. It's going on the bottom of the screen. You got 6 minutes about to go enter that contest. If you're an old school and you've been here before, you already know that. You're probably already entered. So just want to give you a heads up. We got about 5 minutes left. The contest's going to be closed. So go hit that up. With that said, back to Steve Barber. Who is lucky contestant number 5 to join us tonight? There's going to be a lot of Hollywood squares here.
Let's bring Vasily on.
All right, Vasily, it's your time
Hi,
to shine,
everyone.
Vasily. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Hi from Canada.
Oh, from Canada. Hey.
Yeah.
So, Vasily, tell us how you got involved with Steve Barber and what did you take to SEMA and to the Showdown?
So I have a little car. It's Audi 401. I've been at the Steve show at the 2019 CES Showdown. And this time I was happy to take participation at SEMA for sure because it was a dream for me to come there. Yeah, it's my car is just not as big like car audio build, but I don't know, looks good.
Yeah,
You know,
well, it looks
Mike's-
good. It's got super loud doors. I mean, the car itself fits in at SEMA, and Vasily knows what it meant to be there. Like our community isn't quite as familiar with SEMA as some other of the motorhead communities are.
Sure,
but
sure.
hopefully, next year we have a little better plan. They know what we are capable of now and give us the right location, blah blah. But his car fit in perfectly. He was able to attract a ton of people in with his doors. One of the nearer cars to the outlet that they gave us. But yeah, it's an amazing install as well, and he did it all himself, which is his hobby, and it's as clean as any shop install that you'll see.
So RGA, Regular Guy Audio, and I had to bring this comment up when I saw it in my peripheral. It says, howdy to the Canuckstanian cousin. Is that an actual term we use up there, Vasily? Canuckstanian?
I don't know. When was that?
Well, RGA, thanks for the shout out. And really, what it boils down to, not that I don't like some of the beverages, the cold beverages we have here in the United States, but when it comes to the really good fermented cold beverages, you guys in Canada kind of have that on lockstep. I mean, because the beer from Canada, I will have to admit, is pretty stout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm also Russian. Just moved here to Canada like 8 years ago from Russia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what? Okay, I have to ask. So what made you move from Russia to Canada?
I don't know. Just was exploring, like trying to find new place, whatever. Better, not the better place, but I just was trying. I don't know, find a better place. I mean,
something new.
Okay, I gotta share this, and then we'll get our last guest in here. Vasily, you'll hopefully get a laugh out of this. So many years ago, when Kicker first got into doing DSP, Kicker's been doing DSP products longer than I think people really know. We've been doing it for 20 years, probably 18, 20 years. And one of the gentlemen that we had work with us at the time was literally a Russian rocket scientist, and I'm not making that up. And he and I got into a conversation one day because I was on the team that designed the original SX amplifiers that had the keypad and the blue display with the DSP built into it. And I was going through some of the menu setup with him, and of course he's doing coding for it. And we got into a nice conversation, and I'll try to do my best here, so don't laugh, or do laugh, and I would. And he says, he said, I'm from Russia. I'm a rocket scientist. I designed the intercontinental ballistic missiles. You know, the ones that are in the silos pointed at your Washington, D.C. and your Chicago. That's a job I had. But I'm an audio guy, and I love audio. So I moved from Russia to U.S., and now I can make a DSPs. No more rockets.
Oh, man.
So, true story.
sounds exactly like.
So hopefully I got my best drunken Russian takeoff on there, because that's about as good as I can do. But it's a true story that's his background. He was literally an intercontinental ballistic missile rocket specialist designer.
Yeah, I used to be a car audio installer back in Russia, but now building houses here.
Well, that's a good switch. I mean, at least, car, audio, and houses. He went from intercontinental ballistic missiles to DSPs for audio.
Yeah,
But, make peace,
No,
not war.
I
So that's
used to
better.
build the boxes for the subwoofers. Now I'm just building the boxes, a little bit bigger houses, framing the houses.
It's just a bigger box, right? It's just a bigger box.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining us here tonight, Vasily. I'm glad you're here, but let's get our final guest in. So we got 6 squares here to make it even tougher for people on smartphones to watch this show, because now we're going to look like thumbs. Let us get our last guest in here. Steve Barber, bring him on board.
All right, last but not least, Mr. Drew Jones.
It's me.
Hello, sir.
It's me.
It's me. How's everyone doing?
We are doing fantastic. How are you doing tonight, Drew?
I can't complain too much. Just hanging out, enjoying the show.
Yeah, well, we try to do the same thing. The cool part about this, I got my first, what I like to call serious demo of what I like to call a high SPL, high base vehicle, and it would have been in. It wasn't your vehicle. It was
Nope. Stephen Duncan's
Steve
Sierra.
Duncan. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to admit that I took it like a champ. I mean, I think I held in there pretty well. And when I tapped out, I mean, you gave me that look, and I think you told me, well, there's 2 clicks left. And the fact that I made it to that point and there was only 2 clicks left, I'm really proud of myself, to be real quite frank with you.
Yeah, most people who don't deal with loud bass, who get in that truck or the van, they tap out immediately, basically. So you made it to a mid-60 before tapping out.
I'm going to tell you, that thing created pressure like nobody's business. That was intense, and it was insane. And I wasn't scared, but it was definitely all I had, and I was done. And no, I didn't want any more. So those 2 extra clicks, I didn't need them.
Understandable.
But and I know these vehicles, I mean, I'm surprised that you guys are able to keep, I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this so I don't offend anyone, because I don't want to offend anyone, but there's a lot of vehicles in the SPL world, big bass world, that, they're potent, they're power, I mean, they're creating pressure, but if you look at the install, you just go to yourself, did you just throw that in there and shoot some styrofoam in there to hold it in place and call it good? Because they don't look great. And looking at the caliber of vehicles that, Steve, you obviously selected this team here, and they all had vehicles there. You guys have very nice looking vehicles. How do you keep them looking nice? Because with all that pressure, and Steve Duncan's car is an example of it, is that car was extremely loud, but yet inside it looked great. It looked stock. I mean, it looked very clean. So are you guys just fixing them all the time?
So, it's basically, if you don't have an extreme vehicle these days, like the van we took to SEMA, like full steel cabin and everything, if you have a stocker looking cabin like Steven's truck, my Tahoe, anything like that plays music in the 60s, it's basically a part-time job keeping the interior and the enclosure together to make it look presentable constantly. You'll spend hours a week after a big show repairing damage that occurred at the show.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Does everyone here agree? I mean, to keep these maintained, you're doing work, because that much pressure has got to be just destroying stuff.
Yep. It's the whole reason I'm going all extreme, to just get away from all that.
Yeah, it's right. That's what a lot of people do. It's easier, less time consuming. And I'll say one thing: it changes the experience of the vehicle once you go that extreme. Once you do plate or wood everything, it's definitely a different monster for sure.
Got to give a shout out to Brad Manning. He's actually a local guy here in Stillwater. He works down at Audio Midwest here in Stillwater. He actually won one of our contests, I think 3 weeks ago now, might be 2. Brad also has a brand new baby girl, so congratulations to Daddy Brad.
Nothing better than that.
Nothing better than that, but he had, and I got Drew Jones is helping me with the design of the Expedition that will be full of L7X15. So I saw that comment pop up, had to pull it up. Brad, thank you for joining in the show tonight. Thanks for tuning in, and congratulations again on your beautiful daughter. So real quick, before we get any further into this, I'm watching the clock here. I got a feeling we're going to run a little long tonight, which I think will be okay. What I'd like to do is, Ernie, if you will, just put all of us into small boxes and maximize my screen. Steve, you put together, or had someone put together, basically a video that kind of rolls up everything from the SEMA show and the Showdown into one really cool video. And I think the best way to let people understand what we're talking about here is to actually show that video. You good with that?
That's fine. Yeah. And
let's roll it.
So let me give credit to the man who put it all together, was Luke Shaler, who's one of us, a basshead photographer for many years from the Pacific Northwest. He actually lived in Dubai now, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, he put this together for us and sent it over. So yeah, let it rip. Nobody's seen it yet. It's 10 minutes long, but yeah.
That's fine. That's why I wanted to get in here. And while it's running, if you guys have any comments or something you want to add to it, I told Ernie to run the audio and video because it's a great video. So if everyone's tuned here, we'll hang in. We've got this video. Like Steve said, it runs about 10 minutes long, but I think it'll give you a great idea to see what happened at SEMA, to see what happened at the Showdown, and then we can talk about it and ask questions afterwards. So Ernie, let that beautiful bead footage roll.
I don't think I've never even seen the footage.
Hey, that's me. That wasn't me out the top, but yeah.
So is this leaving the show? Was this the parade coming out of the event at the end?
Yeah, that was the parade leaving the show to see McKnight.
There goes Jeff on the boat. Speaking of that, while we're looking at this video, is there any footage in here of SEMA Ignite?
Yeah, there is.
There is, okay.
Yep.
So this footage here, I'm assuming all of this we're looking at right here it's all a combination, whether it's at the SEMA show or at the Showdown show that weekend?
Yeah. Yep. This right here is at SEMA. You can kind of tell the difference here. There's Vasily's.
Here's my car.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
I love that thing, man.
I know, it's gorgeous.
That was a
And
nice
it sounds amazing for being as loud as it is.
Man, that's a fantastic piece of workmanship there, Vasily. Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, just a random girl.
Man, I wish I had long hair. I used to have hair. That's very true, Ernie. I wish I had any hair. That's why I'm growing the beard. At least I can grow that. But these,
the location we took us was a little crazy, but it was the first time for everybody. It worked out. That Friday was really a lot of fun.
Friday was the best.
And Friday's basically the day they kind of let you guys off the chain a little bit, so you could, because literally you guys were, no exaggeration, you were shaking the buildings.
Yep. Well, I think it was Friday. It might have been Thursday. They said we could play a little bit on Thursday, so I turned the van up a little bit. Someone came from the hall, which was across the interstate, probably 75 to 100 yards away, and said that we were rattling the toilets in the central hall.
That's hilarious.
I will say that we definitely made it longer on Tuesday than I thought we would. They didn't really come tell us to stop until about 1:30 in the afternoon.
That's actually a pretty long run then, to be honest.
Yeah, they came and they're like, hey.
We were taking it pretty easy for the most part. It was like we'd go a little while and then we'd pull back a little bit. We'd go a little while and we'd all kind of pull back a little bit. That, when they'd be like, geez, man, that's kind of ridiculous. And we're like, oh, we're taking it pretty easy, but it was fun.
So here's a question. Of course, Ramondo's here with me live, so you don't see us because obviously the video is running. But I'm going to ask all of you, including Ramondo sitting here. So obviously, I understand. I mean, I'm a basshead from the early '80s, and it's a completely different game. But like in the mid '80s, I had a car, I had a Honda Accord hatchback that was fully decked out, and I had a car that would, was full band with like a concert inside. It would do 146, 147 back then, which back then was huge SPL, but it wasn't just bass, it was full bandwidth. It was just a loud freaking car. You'd fast forward to today, different mic measurement systems, you move to that new system, which is the pressure meter, all the numbers roll back, depending on who you want to talk to, somewhere from 6 to 9 dB. And then you guys start chasing these numbers. And I get that there's two camps going on here. There's you guys, which appear to me to be more like the demo crowd. And then there's the guys who chase numbers on a meter. So when are we going to get to the point where enough is too much or enough is the end? I mean, what's your idea on this? And just start with one and go around the room.
When somebody dies.
Yeah.
When somebody dies.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
that folks, been a good show. Next Tuesday it'll be something else in this time slot because we're fired. But hey, it's been great hanging with you.
I think we're at the limit for how loud a demo vehicle can really be. I mean, can we keep getting louder? Yeah, but I think we're at a safety limit. at this point. So I just did the math real quick, compared the where you said your car was back in the 80s, the 146, to the van that we brought to SEMA. It is 256 times the energy in the van versus what your car had back in the 80s.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's so much energy, and just it's dangerous. It has to be. Like, I'm sure there has been instances where people I know where people say they've almost passed out in the van or in other builds we've seen. So I mean, how much further can we really go with it? I guess is where I'm at. Like, I think we're at the limit. We're super close to it.
When you say we're super close to the limit, I tend to agree with you. I mean, and I'm talking about, on the demo side, when you get into the guys just, throwing a mic or a pressure meter in and doing a measurement on a thing, that's different than subjecting a body to all that. But do you think that because we're getting to that point where, as far as really what's at the maximum end of what you consider safe for a human being, a human body, do you think that's why now the big push is, okay, yeah, great, because it's funny to watch some of these conversations. To me, it's like, yeah, I do 164 dB. Well, what frequency? I'll bet it's at 40 hertz. That ain't nothing. Well, I do it at 32. I do it at 32 hertz. I'll do 164 at 32 hertz. So is that why we're seeing this big drive now for lower and lower frequencies, because it's that visceral wind effect? Do you think that's what it is? I mean, I'm actually looking for your opinions.
So the push for lows, I think, is purely because it looks better on video. I think that's it. I think that's the only reason it really started, was that it looks better on video, so it's better for the internet.
I think the low frequencies don't hurt as much.
Yeah,
and they're kind of a little bit more of a full body massage. Like our truck, the Gately Audio demo truck, the Green Monster, in the previous configuration when it had 6 18-inch subwoofers, I could play 16 and 17 hertz for 13 hours straight, and I wouldn't build significant heat until I started having voltage drop issues. But I could be inside of that thing and piling, 3 people at a time in and out of all the doors, and I wouldn't get fatigued by it. But when I would start, I'd get like, I'm going to mix it up a little bit, and I'd start playing 30 and 35 hertz and 28 hertz. Pretty soon, a half an hour later, and I'm like, man, I'm all done. I'm going to go back to playing these low frequencies that I can handle more. And obviously, playing lower frequencies isn't going to be quite as loud. So I'm not doing a 160. I'm probably doing a 55 or even a 50 if I'm lucky at 17 hertz. But it's still brutal. But it's not hurting my ears. It's not hurting my ribs. It's a little different, and then also, if you're playing 17 hertz and somebody walks by the window, some girl with long pretty hair 3-4 feet away, and it blows her hair around, that's a hell of a spectacle, and that's where it looks better on video thing comes into play, like Drew mentioned.
You know what I'm seeing here, and I'm laughing because this was running through my head as I see all you guys talking about this, and you're getting down to the teens, you're talking about that frequency, and you're moving a lot of air. I'm almost envisioning you guys being the new modern version of the Pinkies Up Club. Oh, look, there's Tommy. Yes, but he's only at 24 hertz. He can't blow up our little tea party here. Oh, so it's...
What's it doing 20, bro? Come on.
See, I'm the other way.
Go ahead.
My Tahoe, it can play down in the 20s, and I demo down to 24, 25 hertz, but I play everything from 25 to 60 for demos. I listen to normal music, and I play like normal bass. It doesn't look as cool on video, I'll give it that, but it's more musical, I suppose, is the best way to put it.
I think the thing about the low-end side, too, is that it's kind of the last frontier for us SPL/demo guys. Like, going after the high mid 80s, it's a different thing. That's all the car's going to do. And being able to play, like, take Greg Corbin, for instance, he's doing a 77.1 in the 50s, and then he does like mid 60s, or it was a 70 at 20. I think it was something crazy. It's mid 60s at 20. It's just insane. So I think it's a part of the car audio that's not quite fully, dove into yet. And we're getting there. I mean, you're starting to see these crazy numbers at super low frequencies, and it's more than just like moving air at that point. Like, you start to really feel that. That thing
Right.
just sucks you in and out. It's pretty crazy. I really enjoy the low lows like that. When they're
Yeah, I don't want to get anywhere near that. I'll listen to it from the door. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, I had to
Brad
make a
Manning, shout out to
rule
Raimondo. He says that he's experienced his vehicle, and it's one of the most beautiful builds he's ever experienced. So thanks, Brad. Obviously, you've met Brad.
I mean, so
It
I mean,
really
with my
is.
build, yeah. So with my build, just like with Steve, Bobby, and the rest of the guys, I have a stock cabin build. So my build is an extreme like the rest of their builds. So when I'm playing 160s, I'm going to eventually break something. But when I do play it, it's on a completely different level. So I try to keep it at a certain limit. That way everybody get the full musical experience. They can hear the bandwidth. And my build, like I say, is built by Jakar Audio. And they did a tremendous job on the build. And it plays from 13 all the way up to 65.
And with you saying that, I want to go back, and it's something you mentioned there, Drew. So for me, the visceral experience of some of these builds is cool. I won't deny that it's pretty cool to experience the visceral part of what these things can do, especially at those lower frequencies where it's a real visceral, moving a lot of air experience. But kind of around the horn, I'll ask each one of you, and I'm going to start with Drew, since he kicked off that question that sparked me, is you say you play music. So when you say you play music, Drew, are you playing music that's been altered or rebased so that it accentuates stuff that's not there, or are you focused on a build that plays music as the artist built it, you just want it loud?
So I can do both. And actually, the last couple of shows I've been going to, I've been playing mainly normal music, like just how the artist produced it. Just because they've been a lot of the rap artists in these days have been focusing on their low end, because it seems like car audio is having a resurgence all throughout. A lot of people. I couldn't think of the right word, but no, I play normal music, but I do also play a lot of the DJ Rustical's rebase music as well. Just whenever I do want to accentuate lows for whatever reason, it's definitely stronger on the rebase music.
Mullen Performance, you almost got it right. I see a pattern here. Guys wanting hair to blow. No, there's some of us here, we just want hair to grow. But either way, it's okay. We understand you. All right, so Drew, let's move. Yeah, so Drew, let's move from you to Bobby. Bobby, you music, rebase, regular music. Why?
All of it. I mean, like I drive around listening to music, and like when I was drive the Bloodbath back and forth to my house, just kind of making sure that the truck, could function normally and play music while driving. And I listen to whatever when I'm demoing at shows. I don't like to take a lot of requests, but if somebody's like, man, I'd really love to hear this song in here, I'll dig that thing up on Spotify or something and keep it like simple. I want to hear. I designed that thing to play music inside and out and broadcast sound. It's got rear doors that open up, and they're like stunt doors. I play whatever. Some of my favorite stuff to play when I'm in the truck for a really long period of time. Like I was saying, if I'm in there demoing for 4.5 hours straight, I start aiming a little lower and a little lower and a little lower, because it's a little less abusive to my ears and my body, and it's a little more like a full body massage. And then hair trick videos, people love it, and girls look cute when their hair's blowing around, and everybody loves that. So that's kind of where the low frequency stuff starts to really take hold. So yeah, I play the whole variety, and for me personally, I like the lower frequency stuff, especially when you start talking about some of those extreme vehicles. When I'm getting a demo, I kind of made it like a little bit of a rule. If it doesn't have a seat in it, then I won't get inside. I'll stand at the door. And that's kind of the way as far as demos and stuff are concerned. And I do love to hear just music as well as the rebase stuff.
Okay, same question. Let's move over to Vasily. Vasily, you rebase music, regular music, both, and why?
Yeah, 50-50 probably, because my system is not that big, right? But it's only 121 sub. But I listen to everything. But I don't know.
Wait. Did you just apologize because it's only 121-inch sub? Did I hear that right? Really? Come on,
it's
man.
Not like all other guys, they have a big system, This one is just.
Man,
But
wait, we got to reset the referencer. Come on, if you got a single 20-inch sub, that's a big system. Those other ones are just bigger. You've got a big system.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I enjoy everything, but I also like the sound balance. So like, I mean, if you have a bass, so I like to hear vocals, right? Mids and highs, everything balanced together.
Okay, let's pop the same question up to Jeff. Jeff, what about you? I mean, you're unique in this Hollywood Squares that we got going on here, is that you got a boat. So I'm assuming, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but did you build the boat first and foremost as a party barge so that you can just have a great time on the lake? Or what was your goal?
My boat is for a party. It's
Okay.
for the party. We beach
Well, I
it.
figured.
My boat will play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 7 hours a day, 3/4 volume, and it just as loud as it can be.
So basically, we need to find a way for you to tow like a 3-phase generator behind your boat, because you're sucking a lot of power.
It's got 2 power supplies in it. It's got 5 of those Odyssey PC 1800 batteries in it. There's still not enough. It's close to 25,000 watts, and it drives a lot. It's got an onboard generator in it and whatnot, but it'll play continuously forever. As long as there's gas in the generator, it'll go.
So were you inspired to do your boat on something else you had seen, or did you just go in with an open slate going, I just want a party barge, tell me what we can do?
I used to build SEMA cars for years and years and years. And out here on the lake, I cannot stand listening to, 3 or 4 different stereos at one time. So it started as, I'm just going to be louder. I'm just going to be the loudest. And now I am the loudest on the lake. So now everybody just turned into a party boat. Now everybody, we mark where we're going to be. Everybody shows up. The boat actually gets parked off to the side and we party somewhere else. But we needed the bass to travel. It's a lot different. We want bass outside of the boat. We don't want it inside the boat. So it took a lot of work to get it to sound good, further away.
Sure.
But it's a completely different animal. It just turned into, I didn't stop. And you guys kept giving me equipment. I kept taking it. I'm like, can I get this? Sure thing.
That's a different conversation, Jeff. This is a kid show. Come on now. So with that said, I'm gonna move over from you, and I'm gonna take it over here to Ramondo. So same thing for you. Rebase, regular music, and why?
All right, so for me, I'm a little bit different. It's pretty much 80-20, more natural music than rebase. With the rebase, I like the rebase, but that's kind of much. It's pretty much in my back pocket as for me, it's like a showboat whenever somebody want to play 13 hertz, 15 hertz. But with me, with music, I have a different goal in mind. It's pretty much to give the listener of different type of cultures, because that's kind of where I kind of like to strive for.
Sure.
Because so many people like to listen to so many different things. And I like to have them to hear the ultimate experience, because my goal at the end is to have high SQL with hair tricks across the bandwidth everywhere.
I like that.
So that's pretty much my intent.
And I knew I liked you when I first met you for a reason. I knew there was a reason. So,
yeah.
And then, this won't get me in trouble, because the reason I know is because Steve Irby has a Tesla. Is it a Y? Is that the one he's got, Tim? Is a Tesla Y?
I don't know.
It's the small SUV one. I think that's the Y. Mr. Irby had a Tesla Y. When he first got the car, Steve loved taking everyone out and experiencing the car with him. And one of his favorite things to do is the Tesla has the built-in, I'm sure you've all seen it, the fart machine, where you can make the fart come out of everyone's seat as you go around the car. So since Steve showed me the fart machine, and I think it's so funny, that gives me the clear window for Vance Freeze to say, Lowe's loosen a good fart. So, hey, I guess there is a benefit to that, and I guess Steve Irby'd be along there with you, because he gets a chuckle out of playing the fart machine in his Tesla. So thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. But that's funny. So I'm looking here. It's 8:54. I'm going to go through here and see if there's a comment to throw out. Mine, Plaid. Yeah, Plaid, yeah. If you're talking Plaid, if you're talking Tesla S Plaid, our good friend Jimmy Ham from Pro Audio Center, he's been over here twice in a very short period of time, because he wanted us to experience it. And I've ridden in and I have driven the Tesla S Plaid, and it's kind of, once you drive a Tesla S Plaid, I won't say that all other cars suck. I'll just say they kind of pale in comparison, because you can't say that a Corvette sucks. A Corvette's a great car.
Oh yeah.
But when a four-door Tesla S-Plaid can just eat it and spit it out, it's kind of like, okay, from a performance standpoint, here's a four-door sedan. This kind of is the new epitome of this is the one that rocks. So yeah, Plaid, I'm all about a Plaid. That Tesla S-Plaid is awesome.
That's what happened. I went up to see Jimmy. He does a bunch of stuff for me because he's only 2 hours from me. And the first time I rode in it, I was like, man, this is fast. I've been in some fast stuff. That's crazy. And then let me drive it. Man, like you said, it's just I've driven some really fast stuff. I've ridden some really fast motorcycles, but there's something about a perfect traction launch for 20 miles an hour. It's just in that thing. It doesn't make sense.
He did what he drove the car and let me experience it, and then he put me behind the wheel a couple times to drive it, and I got behind the first time. I'm doing probably 60 mile an hour, and Jimmy just hit it. I was like, why is it take it to the floor, just hit it. And I did. It felt like a dump truck had rear-ended us. It just bit the road and took off that hard. I felt like I'd been rear-ended by a dump truck.
Wow. Oh, it's instant.
It's insane. And what that car will do.
Like if other people, like if you've experienced fast cars, you know that it takes a second. Like even the fastest, quickest car you can think of, it takes a second for the engine to get going, the traction to happen. There's no delay with a Tesla. It's on.
Exactly. And yeah, basshead 30, yeah, I think anyone and everyone knows that smell, and that's the smell of you've been clipping it a little bit too long, or you've been playing a little bit too long with clean power, and you reach the end of the adhesives. There is a temperature you get to that those adhesives will let go, and that's that smell, is you're actually smelling the adhesive outgas and get soft and want to let go. So that's what that yummy smell that you're smelling is.
So, Kip,
real quick, go ahead.
Can I take a second real quick?
Yeah, go.
So Steve Duncan he's obviously not live here, and he didn't get a chance to go to SEMA this year, but he let me take his van and trailer out to SEMA, have a good time with it. He just said, here, take my $100,000 build and enjoy it. So, but I want to give props to him. He built something that is just absolutely astounding. Play all day, no issues. The whole week we were just letting it rip. I did as much research as I really could. Asking around, checking the internet. I think that van is the loudest thing to ever be at SEMA. Period. There was never anything
the one that
loud
Steve built.
Van. Yeah. Currently it's 170. Well, say currently 170. It's getting a rebuild with a bunch more amps, but we've got 170 out of it, playing music in the high 60s. So I think it's the loudest thing to ever be at SEMA. And Steve did that in his little garage in Mississippi. And I just want to give him a shout out for that. It's
no problem
amazing
at all.
build.
Do that.
And
well,
then
awesome.
I want to thank you, Kip, for so we towed the van out there with my Duramax, which is basically an entire kicker SQ build, and it made the drive fantastic having all that kicker gear in there to be able to. My ears didn't get tired after 36 hours each way of driving.
That's a long time.
1,600 miles each way, but it was worth it. It was a great trip.
Well, I'm glad that Steve was able to get, really what looks like to me after, experiencing the video, the pictures I saw before the show tonight, and then having the chance, some of you I've met before, some of you I just met tonight, but I would call this probably definitely the cream of the crop. And it looked like Steve, knew what he was doing when he picked to go to SEMA, have a great time there, and then obviously represent over at the Showdown. I'm not kicking anyone out of the studio. It's just what I'm going to do real quick. Since we do the contest, I really like to get, if there's people that tune in, they hang in for the contest. So what I want to do is if everyone here is okay, hang around for a few minutes. We can run a little late tonight, not too long, because I want to show something we got here anyway. But let me do our contest giveaway for tonight, and then we'll come back. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, perfect. So obviously, as we said at the beginning of the show, Bill Frog is out. He's on vacation. So I'm going to ask this question, and we'll see what kind of answer we get, because you're used to the yep that we get from Bill Frog. Tonight could be a nope or it didn't work. So let's find out. So, JW, have we got some winners tonight? There it is. There's the yep. Okay. So basically, everyone, as you know, we do our nightly contest here at Kicker. We're going to draw our 3 winners tonight. Some information. If you are a winner of the Kicker Unmasked show tonight, first thing, you'll get an email. Is Bill going to handle those emails in the morning, or are we on the hook for that? You got it? So they'll still get emails in the morning? Yes. Perfect. I just want to make sure I'm not lying, at least on purpose to anyone out there. In the morning, if we announce you as winner tonight, you will get an email from Kicker. In that email, we need you to reply with just a few little bits of information. The first thing is we need you to send us your shipping information. It cannot be a P.O. box, so please send us something that's not a P.O. box. Second, we do need your phone number. Promise you, we do not use that for any other marketing purposes. It just, however we send it to you, it doesn't matter if it's USPS, UPS, FedEx, DHL, or carrier pigeon. They have to have a phone number, so if they can't find your address or they need to arrange for you to come pick it up at their local hub, they can do that. So please provide us with your phone number, and sincerely, it doesn't go any further. It's just for the shipping information. And last but not least, verify your shirt size. I know when you're in a hurry, I do the same thing. If you're over in a drop-down box, you want to get back to whatever you were doing before, whether it's a show or something else, you may have hit the wrong size inadvertently. If you're like me, you don't want to wear a Shtnonm. A Shtnonm doesn't look good on you, so be sure you confirm your shirt size, whether it's small, medium, large, extra large, whatever you need, confirm that in the email. So with that said, all the winners, you'll get an email, respond to it. We need you to respond within 7 days. We have very few people who don't respond within 7 days, but in the terms of the thing, we get 7 days. If you don't claim your prize within 7 days, we do draw another winner. So please respond to the email. So with that said, JW, who's winner number 3 tonight, getting the EBs, the shirt, and the koozies? Winner number 3 is Elsa C. from Texas. Elsa, thank you for tuning into the show tonight. Thank you for being a winner. Hope you've enjoyed the time here with what I consider the rock stars of big bass and high output SPL. Been a good time. We're not done yet, but we want to get the prizes out of the bag before 9 o'clock. Winner number 2, who do we got, JW? Winner number 2 is Chad G. from New Hampshire. Congratulations, Chad. You're getting the you're getting the Tabor 2s on-ear headset, Bluetooth. You're getting the koozies. You're getting the shirt. Congratulations. Thank you for tuning in to Kicker Unmasked tonight. We certainly appreciate you spending some time with us. And last but certainly not least, our number 1 winner tonight is getting the Bullfrog 100, the t-shirt, and the koozies. Ooh. Would be JW. Tonight's final winner is Nick C. from Michigan. Nick C. Hey, Nick, if you're in the feed, which I hope you are, what's the temperature up there in Michigan right now? I mean, I grew up in northwestern Ohio, so I'm used to this time of the year being a little brisk. It's a little brisk in Oklahoma here today. Yesterday was really,
it was pretty windy.
Yesterday was bad. But let us know what the weather's like up there in Michigan. But congratulations, Nick C. from Michigan. You are a grand prize winner tonight. Thank you to all of our winners, and thank you for staying tuned in to Kicker Unmasked for the evening. Now that we've got that out of the way, basically that wraps up the show. We're over the 9 o'clock limit, so I don't want to take too much time. But what I do want to do, since people asked in the questions, is people asked, what's this? You want to give me a close-up on this? Can you zoom in on this a little bit there, Timmy? And then I'll make you hop back over.
Zoom in on him. Yes.
So
hey,
since this was a show about, obviously big bass and SPL and the Showdown and SEMA, I thought now would be a perfect time to kind of let some more information out of the bag when it comes to what's coming down the pike, as everyone knows, which is the new the Solo X family is the new L7X. And we are blessed to have in the studio tonight. These are actually pretty close to done samples. This is the L7X10. We have an L7X12 sitting over here on the floor. And we got a special treat for you tonight is we actually have an L7X15 in a cabinet that we're going to power up and play for you here in a little bit. Now, I don't know how well, obviously, how the mics are going to pick up things. I can't say good, bad, or indifferent for that. And I don't know how well we'll pick up motion from the camera. But I do know what's good is I did some testing on this earlier before the show, and I saw this guy's reaction to it, and that told me everything I needed to know about what's going on here. So we actually have an enclosure on the floor. If I remember correctly, I used the word stole loosely. I didn't really steal it. I temporarily borrowed it from R&D. But this, I think the cabinet is about 7.6 or 7.8 cubic feet. It's tuned at 27 hertz is the tuning frequency on this, and this has one of the L7X15s in it. I got a KXA 2400 here and a tone generator, so we're just going to have a little bit of fun and show you an L7X15 doing its thing. In all seriousness, I got his reaction from it, so I know.
Say something real quick? Kid?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
So I know about Kicker, and when I heard this enclosure, and I heard the sub playing at 15 hertz, 13 hertz, even 10 hertz, it surprised me because I was in the back over there with the crew, and when Kip started playing it, I was like, what is that? And I've never heard a Kicker sub sound like that before. And I'm really impressed on how that subwoofer sound. It got me thinking now. So it has me thinking.
So in the grand scheme of Hollywood Squares, if it's got you thinking, the guy at the top right corner up there, he's not just thinking, he's like on us all. Hey, can I get? I need some subs.
All I need, if the engineers are watching, I need depth of. You know what I need, the depth of. Just give me the depth of it.
And
Steve,
depth of the subwoofer, too.
Please.
We can't talk about that, Steve.
I know, that's why I left it out. So I need to start on my enclosure.
But we are going to have some fun here real quick. I want to fire this up and let the people who tune in get a watch on this. I try not to lie every week. I tell everyone it's a 90-minute show, and here we are tonight. I've run 5 minutes over, which is actually pretty good. But I want to get a little demo of this sub in there. Then if we have some quick questions, we'll do a shout out and get out of here. I really appreciate all you guys hanging in and having fun with us here tonight. I think this is a fun show.
Kip, did you say 7+ cubes?
Yeah, this box here is the first. I mean, here's what I'll tell you, Steve, is obviously R&D is, let me get over here in camera. R&D is actually obviously working on test boxes and things. This is one of the test boxes that they just recently bid. And I say this is just recently. I just heard this. And so we're actually going to try a couple other sizes of boxes to see where it works at. We're thinking that probably optimal box, our recommended optimal box for this is probably going to be somewhere into the mid, maybe 6.5 or 6.8 cube, we think. The thing is, we know what computer programs tell us. We know what modeling tell us. I mean, we have all those tools. I mean, you've been here, Steve, you know that. But at the end of the day, we want to actually build enclosures and run them through testing and verify what things work. So this is the first box that we built up for the L7X15. There's more boxes coming that we're going to try. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I heard it right.
Sure, no. So what I've got going on here, I'm just going to fire everything up. I've got an SMD. I've got one of his AMM1 meters here in line so we can actually look at how much power we're dumping into the L7X. And the reason I thought this was important was I think you're going to find that the efficiency of this driver as far as how much power it takes to do what it does, will it take 2,000 watts, 2,500 watts? Will it take big power? Yeah, but you're going to see what it does is it's pretty amazing what it does on little power. Yeah. Rotate what to the side, Ernie?
The enclosure.
Oh, you got it? Okay. Okay, so we're on real-time power on the SMD meter. We've got a KXA 2400 amplifier sitting here that I'm going to power up. And then, as always, we just have a tone generator sitting here so we can just feed it whatever frequency we want to do. So I'm going to rely on Tim to give me cues because he's going to try to get some views from the side. I'm going to start here. We're going to, you want me to start in the 30s or lower frequency first? What do you think?
I mean, you can start from the lower frequency. You know everybody loves the lower frequencies.
All right.
They'll love it.
All right, so. All right, so. This is 8 hertz, so in case anybody wants to know.
Yes, indeed.
Is it still 8 hertz?
Yeah, 8 hertz, and that's at 650 watts.
Okay.
And hopefully that's getting captured on the screen. Ramondo's here watching it, and when I tell you that thing's moving back and forth about 3.25 to 3.5 inches, I'm not exaggerating.
It's moving more than what it looks like on camera, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys caught that. It's hard to really capture this on camera, but with Ramondo here, hopefully he's my third-party testimonial. Has nothing in the game, but I mean, but that's at 8 hertz, guys. That's 8 cycles. So
That's crazy.
And you don't smell anything either.
No. So I'm going to go and bring. I mean, we could even. All right. So here's 5 hertz.
Well, that's a good-looking subwoofer, isn't it?
For real.
I don't know how that captures on screen, but literally that's, you know, obviously the frame rate and the capture of the camera and everything, but that's at 5 cycles right there. And that's at 800 watts ish.
Give us like 25 hertz and give it the beans.
25 hertz?
Give it the beans. I'm curious. Well, I got so I have my brother messaging me. He's watching live too. and he's excited for these because we've talked about it before. But the day these are available, I'm gonna buy 4 of them. The day they're available, I'm gonna buy 4 of them, and we were gonna cut the baffle out of his wall and put it for these. I want to be the first person to do a 60 with them.
The thing that's amazing about these drivers, and I know I've got Ramondo here, which I'm glad I got someone who has no skin in the game who's just watching this happen, is these drivers, the suspension and everything, it's what Kicker's known for. They are extremely linear. I mean, watching what it was doing at 5 hertz and 8 hertz, it's just a piston. The surround's not loose and flopping around. There's not all this stuff going around. It is a very tight and controlled driver. And you, with the meter on there, I want you to see that how much power it's taking to do that. Yeah, these are big power subwoofers, long throw, big magnet, but Kicker is known for efficiency, tight gaps, making things work right, and you're seeing the performance of this driver, not with 2,000 watts of power, that was with 600 watts of power. So I just want to kind of stress that.
That's definitely one thing that we're looking forward to in our Nitro build. It only needs 6,000 watts to do a 60 currently, but I think it'll be a lot less with the new Kicker subs.
Okay, there's 2,156 watts at 25 hertz.
You know, it is crazy how I'm looking at this through the actual screen and looking at the sub in person. It's ridiculous.
And that's at 25 hertz, Drew.
I love it. Oh, I can't wait to get my hands on these.
And like I said, I don't know if you can see the SM, I don't know what Tim's focused on, but the SMD, like I said, right now we're at 1,900 watts. So that's 1,900 watts at 25 hertz. And then I'm gonna go ahead and change frequency. I'm gonna kick it up to 20, I'm gonna go to 31. You'll see the box is moving now. We got up to 1,350 watts there. And that's at 31 hertz.
Oh, I love it. I love it a lot.
Here, I'll go to 33. Because the tuning on this box, and I'll actually...
While you're playing it at that volume, your audio...
My audio's trash? Okay. So I apologize if you can't hear me or Ramondo at that volume. I apologize, but I'm going to admit I'm having some fun. So
We can hear you. It's fine.
So this is 33 hertz.
Do you have any TS on that sub that's in there?
Say it again.
Do you have parameters on the sub that's in there? What's its FS and any of that good stuff?
No, I don't, but I'll reach out tomorrow.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious if it's a low FS driver that's in there, or, you know.
And then 27, 28 hertz.
I think the teens is where it shows the most on the camera.
Yeah.
I feel like it wasn't showing us on the camera nearly as much flex as it would in person. It's
Oh, it's not.
Yeah,
Bobby, I'm telling you, this sub is moving a lot compared to on camera.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it.
Oh, you can tell it's moving a lot.
You see the box moving around.
Were you saying that thing had over a 3-inch peak-to-peak excursion? Is that where?
Yeah,
15 is 3.5.
The 15 is 3.5.
That's awesome.
3.5 peak to peak.
Just
And
for
it
reference,
like it.
a Sundown ZV5 and ZV6 is also 3.5.
Yeah.
No, I got Nick message. He's messaging me watching it. He's excited.
I built the enclosures in the boat at 6.5 cube each, so I can bolt these right in when they come out.
I bet. I'm about to say they'll bolt right in. Oh, yo, we got turned up a lot. Oh man. Yeah, that's my only.
Every
That's the
once in a while,
only.
the camera picks it up and like cool stuff.
The only technical information I need to know is cutout and outside diameter, and I'm going to have a baffle waiting as soon as these are available.
That sub is ridiculous.
Dude, that's crazy.
I have to, I mean, I had to bring this on camera tonight because this is the right group of people to talk and show about this, and we're far enough along in the project that we're doing this kind of testing. I thought it'd be cool to show this on the show tonight. But as you can see, everything we've been talking about the L7X, I hope people understand. Yes, I know you want it now. We want to have it out now. Trust me, in a perfect world that didn't have all the issues of the past 18 months, this driver would have already been out in the marketplace. We're doing everything we can to get this to market as fast as we can, but we also want to make sure it's right. So understand it's got a lot of loopholes and check gates that it has to go through for Kicker before we send it out to the public. So hopefully everyone can appreciate that.
We can test them for you.
I know.
Got a good
That's
crew
one thing
here.
that I've been explaining to people, because we've been hyping it up for a while and we're all very excited about it. But tell them, I said, look, this isn't just an off-the-shelf driver that Kicker slapping a logo on. This is a purpose-built, hand-built, in-house driver, and the testing that Kicker does is absolutely insane. I tell people the story about the chamber of death and how the enclosure wood itself was hot to touch because y'all testing a driver for so long.
So if you see that on camera, and if you hopefully you can hear me, that's at 6 hertz.
Sounds like a helicopter.
You just
Yeah,
put one
it actually,
between
that's a
our-
good way to put it. It does.
I want to see what one cycle looks like. I've never seen this.
That's at 6 hertz, and we're putting out about 475 watts into it right now.
Insane.
It's crazy how 6 hertz is pushing his box back like this. This is
Yeah, you can see it on camera, the whole enclosure rocking back and forth.
I literally have to hold the enclosure so it don't move right now.
So there's 800 watts at 6 hertz. So
insane.
Yeah, it is super linear. Like the camera's picking it up really well.
Yeah, people are not ready for Kicker's resurgence back into this game.
Well, in all honesty, when it comes, and this was the right show to, we're far enough along that I felt like this was the right show to show this to this group of people, because we've been talking about L7X and, we've answered questions, we've told you. The truth of the matter is, when we got into this, it's 4 years ago now. Myself, Aaron Surratt, Jeremy Brown, who has a very learned history in SPL competition. He knows all the key guys are out there. Bill Brown. We've been going to shows, we've been sponsoring shows, we've been participating. And what's ironic is, it's not like we've got a lot of cars in the lanes. We simply went to support the industry. So we've been supporting financially through prizes and cash and everything else, the entire industry for the last 4 years. And we've been doing our research. What are you using? Why? What are you using it for? And when we're coming out with this line of drivers, understand our goal is not to just meet everything else that's going on out there. Our goal is to set a new bar. And this driver is going to set a new bar in linearity, sound quality. Ramondo heard it earlier, and I don't know if it'd do any good to run it on the camera here today, but I played it all the way from this frequency all the way up to 125 hertz, and he even said, it sounds good. It's very linear across the bandwidth.
Hey guys, and when you playing like just regular, like the regular SPL subs that we normally listen to, and you play it to 80, 90, and it doesn't really sound good, but when you hear these playing at 90, 100 hertz, it sounds like you're listening to a sound quality booth subwoofer. Like, it's ridiculous. Never heard nothing like this before.
I'm gonna bring the gain down because obviously it changes on frequency, but I'll go ahead and do a roll up. So I'll start here. That's 6 cycles.
Yeah, Kicker doesn't release a sub or any product that sounds bad.
Yeah.
No, the one thing I noticed when I heard it in the testing room was how loud it was above 70 hertz. Like Ramondo was saying, sometimes you get in the build, they play 70 hertz, you don't even hear it. The bass just goes away. There's a note there, but you can't hear it.
Yep.
But these things
there's 24 hertz.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do. Well, we
if you
know
guys
a lot
were
of
here,
that.
Ramondo, the entire room is vibrating here. The ceiling rafters and the metal is actually vibrating.
What frequency is that?
33 hertz.
33.
How much power?
Right now we're at 283 watts.
200.
Yeah, 283. There's 52 hertz. There's 60 hertz.
That 60 hertz sounds so good.
70 hertz. 80 hertz.
Ooh.
90 hertz.
335 watts at 90 hertz.
100 hertz. there's 120 hertz. And basically we're at the end of where a subwoofer is done. But as you can tell, I'm gonna start at 120 and just roll it down back to 8.
Oh, like an airplane.
Yep, that's going to be an absolute monster.
Now, I don't know if you'll see that there's two things fighting us here. Number one, I don't know what the camera will pick up. And number two, the KX2400 has a subsonic filter built in at 10 hertz, 24 dB per octave. So obviously at 10 hertz, we kind of start rolling it off. So, but this is one, you asked the question earlier, Drew, here's 1 hertz. This is 1 hertz.
Mm.
So I don't know if Tim can even see that on camera or capture it, but Ramondo's here, you can see it, but that's 1 hertz.
It's doing something.
Yeah, and like I said, the subsonic filter on the amplifier, I can't get enough drive into it to really do anything because of the subsonic filter, because the KX2400 is, you know, a consumer grade amplifier. There's nothing that, we don't want anybody playing anything at 1 hertz. There's no point.
There's like one
play negative hertz.
Yeah, so I'll bring the voltage back down a little bit so I don't cause any Kipism disaster.
Play negative 20, Kip. Start a black hole.
So here's 2 hertz. So here's 2 cycles. Tim can.
That thing jumps hard sometimes.
Yeah, it's the tone generator. The tone generator, when you go to different voltages, it has a little burp that it does, and that's why it does that. It's not the woofer, it's the tone generator.
What's cool about this camera angle is in this frequency, you can really see that bottom corner like doing its thing, kind of stretching apart, stretching.
You can. That actually, so that's 2 cycles right there, and I'm going to here. I'm going to go off the reservation.
Almost looks like Beamer's fingernails.
All right, so that's 2 hertz. That's 2 hertz, and we're only throwing 54 watts into it.
Oh, you about to turn it up?
Turn it up, Ramondo said. Oh yeah, that thing's moving now.
So there's 2 hertz at 150 watts.
Okay.
There you go. That's XMEC. There you go. Found it. Actually, maybe not. That might just be the end of the cycle causing that little jitter. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's the I think it's the just jitter on the tone generator.
Yeah, I don't think that's even near. That's not XMEC yet.
And then
2 hertz, bro.
There's 3 hertz. I mean, if we're gonna have fun, we'll have some fun here.
So whenever the first time I went to Kicker, I'm not gonna say what brand subwoofer I saw as we went through the R&D department, but Mr. Steve was with us, and I was like, man, I know that subwoofer. That's a very efficient subwoofer. And he was like, what if we built something even more efficient than that? And I just looked at him. I was like, ooh, buddy. So I know that Kicker's not playing around with the Solo X family. I know that.
Okay, there's 1,000 watts at 3 hertz.
That's 3 hertz.
3 hertz.
Wow.
Jesus. It's super linear. Just look at it.
That's pretty controlled too.
I say all the time, guys, and I know I work for Kicker. I've been here for 25 years. There's not many other companies that I would want to work for. I respect Steve Barber. I respect what this company does, and it's why I'm here. But I will say this. I know we make very linear operating products that in the grand scheme of things are some of the most efficient drivers out there. And if you have any opportunity to spend any time with Steve Barber, he drives it into your head. It's about balance. It's about linearity. It's about control. And so what you're seeing here is, if we take L7X out of the equation and you don't even think about the old Solo X, do we have a woofer that's designed to move the massive amounts of air at the 20 to 40 hertz frequencies that you guys do in these vehicles? No, we don't make a driver right now that does that until you get this one. And what you're seeing here is Steve only knows how to make a driver one way, his way. So this is a driver made his way but designed to have 3.5 inches peak-to-peak excursion and do what you guys want to do in your world. So I got to give all props to Steve Irby. This product is going to be amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they're infield serviceable.
But
Kicker stuff is subwoofers to develop a bunch of cool boxes for them to go in.
That's right.
Bingo! I said I'm going to need a box from you, Bobby. We're going to talk.
How about like a few dozen of them for testing and development, and a big old stack of them? Yeah.
We'll start designing. Get you some specs over to you.
You know, I might end up getting one of these, Kip.
You get one of these.
I might, get the.
And of course, that's fun right there because that's 8 hertz. But
gonna put it in my house.
The way this 8 hertz is moving, it has a lot of force to it too.
Yeah, I mean it's
Put
getting
something
up
in front of the port and let it blow it around.
Yeah, where's the port? Is it on the
Hey,
there.
turn it off.
Do a hair trick, Kip.
Do
There's no hair tricks there.
Hey, Drew, it's the old guys club. There's not enough hair between us to do a hair trick. Well,
Armando,
Sandy can do a hair trick.
That's why I'm wearing a kicker hat. I gotta cover up my hair that's going away.
You should put it in a little SUV or something.
I don't think they can see it on the camera.
Yeah, I don't know if
There you go.
there's.
We're such bad influences.
and obviously you guys know how ports work. So the most air that's going to come out of the port's going to be a tuning. And we're at 8 cycles. This cabinet's tuned at 27 cycles.
Yeah,
so,
you're well below tuning.
Yeah, we're way below. I mean, we're at the unloading point on tuning here at 8 cycles.
Yeah, you turn that thing into the mid-20s, it'll probably shred that piece of paper.
Well, let's see. Okay. Oh, Ernie, stop it! I want to stop it. Okay.
Oh, you can hear it.
There you go.
Oh yeah, see, instantly.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice right there.
No, it's fine with you. Yeah. The CD in front of it. Thank you.
Oh Lord. Good Lord. There we go.
What's up, big kids?
That's at 28.
I bet at a certain frequency, it'll suck that thing all the way into the box.
Don't lose your hat, man. Spit it out.
He thinks
So
he's
nice.
like his hat and he gets to leave with it.
An impressive driver.
I think it's going to be a very impressive driver, and I thought, I knew this was in R&D. It was in the cabinet. We listened to them last week. I knew with you guys coming on the show tonight, I thought there'd be no better time to come out and let you see these, get an actual demonstration of these drivers. So for all of you that have tuned in and stayed into the show until this hour, I appreciate it. I didn't want this to take away from getting you guys in the main part of the show, but I knew if anyone would appreciate what we've got going on here, it would be this team of people. And I'm actually excited that Ramondo's here to experience it in person so he can tell you his ideas.
I'm really, I'm thinking about it. I mean, if y'all can feel this air pressure just from 115, it's I'm impressed with it. I must say, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed.
So there's the 15.
There you
That's
go.
the 15.
Sweet. Ship it to me.
And of course, this is the 10 sitting beside it. And here I'll do, let me move the 10
what
over.
is the overall height of that 10 as far as its what's the square, dimension overall?
This dimension, the mounting diameter or the height?
The mounting square.
Is that
What's the
you, Bobby?
mounting square? What's the overall square dimension?
Hold on a second.
Oh,
You
look
figure
at
out
that
how
15,
many of them
bro.
things I can fit under the seat of a truck.
That's what I was looking for. You know exactly what I'm looking for.
You know,
Hold on a
this is
second,
pretty
Bobby.
heavy
I'm
for a
going to
15.
grab a tape measure and tell you right now. Don't.
One-handed
to-
over your head, Raimundo.
Steve meets
All right,
Here
run.
comes Jack. Man,
Run.
he's got this.
L7X.
It's heavy. I can say that. It's heavy.
Timmy thinks
Take it and run.
Timmy thinks it's the same cutout as an L7S as far as dimensions. But I'll get a tape measure on here. We'll see what we can see. So
What happened to your tape measure?
9, I'm gonna guess 9.5.
Is the cutout
Yeah, that's what
or the
gonna be my-
overall?
overall edge to edge basket.
Yeah.
Is that the cutout or the overall?
That's the first number I gave you there is the cutout. So the cutout, let me get this tape measure through here so I can try to get a more accurate measurement. Okay, cutout, we're looking about 9.5 is what it looks like.
Okay.
Overall, from edge to edge, 11 inches.
Okay. Okay.
And as you can see, and again, this is number 2. I don't know number 2 of what, but this is number 2 that we've got in. But these were actual samples that we got in to take to a trade show if we were getting ready to go to a trade show and talk about these. And so you can see we're pretty far along here. I mean, you're seeing the performance we're getting out of the driver. You can see cosmetically, these drivers, I think they look fantastic. I know
That
I'm biased to
surround
work
on the
here, but
15 looks incredibly intimidating. That's going to be great in a flat wall.
Man, look at that 10. That thing looks angry. I want to
It
put,
does.
I want to put 2 of those under the seat of my truck.
Right. Yeah,
So
the
give you-
corners make them look angry.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
here's the family, so you can get an idea.
Oh,
So
here we go.
here's the 10, here's the 12, and here's the 15.
Should have made an 8.
How cool would that be? How cool would that be?
We have had lots of requests for other sizes. And that's
And a
all I can
6.5.
say about that.
Oh, man.
All the latest information on any new Kicker product can be found every week, Tuesday night, 7:30 Central Time, right here on the Kicker Facebook and YouTube channels. Stay tuned. But, you talk about the 10. I mean, I want a box for it. This is what I want to put in my car, my daily driver car. I just want to do either a single 10 and a bigger ported box or maybe a pair of them sealed. But, I mean, look at that. Look at that motor. I mean, maybe Timmy can get a little. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This
Is the motors different on each sub kit?
Yes, each motor is designed for that size of subwoofer. The motors are not the same, and that's another thing that you'll find with Steve when he designs a speaker is, a lot of people just take the same magnet assembly and they'll throw it on an 8, a 10, or a 12 and just use the same motor. And Steve will flat out tell you if you're designing a speaker for balance that you cannot do that because there is such a thing as having too much motor for the moving mass, and it actually decreases the amount of low bass you get out of the speaker. So yes, these motors are designed for each one. So trust me, we announced this project at we did it for the SEMA launch because we couldn't go to SEMA. We were all and still are excited about this project. This was supposed to be out first quarter of this year, not as long as it's taking. But none of us could predict what was coming and what happened. We just couldn't.
No, there was no way to know that there's going to be the delays that there have been.
No, because had we known that we were looking at that kind of time frame, we wouldn't have talked about this product that soon. We would have talked about it like now or 3 months ago, not 18 months ago.
Yeah, but hey, I mean.
But
like
hopefully
I said,
you guys get
no
an
one can predict
idea.
that.
No, and then I don't know, Tim can probably get a good look on it here, but you can see even the terminals that are on these. It is a spring-loaded binding post that is on there, and that will accept all the way up to an 8-gauge wire, no problem. And then along with that, there's actually a barrier block that will also hold an additional 2 8-gauge wires. So if you want to do a barrier system to parallel your coils up, you can, and then you could use the spring-loaded binding post to connect your main wire, or vice versa, or you could come everything in on the barrier block and not even use the spring-loaded binding post, but you get all 3 wiring options on the speaker, which
Oh, that's
is
really
cool.
I like that a lot.
And it's built in, and
Yeah,
Raimondo, you're here. I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I mean, you're seeing them live in the. What do you think?
You know, this is what you call good quality and work put into a subwoofer. And you know, I've seen kickers back in the day. I've known what they can do, and just seeing how far the kickers come so far throughout the years, this is amazing quality and amazing work. And kicker definitely come a long way. And I'm really impressed with what I'm looking at right now because, like I said, this 15 alone, I picked it up and it's really heavy. You know, I'm not exaggerating when I'm doing this. It's heavy, and it's definitely some good work put into this. And Kip, like I said, you and your team, and y'all definitely did a great job on this subwoofer. And like I say, it's making me think right now.
Hey, if it makes you think, then we've done our job. If it makes you think about
it's making me think. Like seriously, I might end up having a new build. You'll never know. You know, we'll see.
You know, for those of you who suffer just a shade of, you know, maybe you got a little OCD. I admit I got just a shade of OCD, as Ernie's laughing in the background. But you know, a wall of these look really good together.
Kip, you see what you're doing? Don't do that. Don't do it.
So, with that said, it's 9:36. We've definitely run out the clock tonight. I can't believe how many people stay tuned in tonight. Real quick, starting at the top corner. Steve, you got anything you want to add or talk about here on the show before we sign out?
Guys, thanks for having me again. Thanks for everything you guys do for myself and the community, and you know, look forward to many more years of fun stuff together. I can't wait to get some of these subs.
I can't wait for you to get some of these in your hands either. I'm excited to see what you do with Move Air too. I'm very excited to see that, Steve. Trust me. And you know, we're close to showing this stuff to you tonight. We're close. We're getting close.
We're getting there. Yep.
We're getting there. Jeff, how about you? What do you got to add tonight? Anything you want to promote or talk about or say?
Sign me up for 4 of them.
Sign you up for 4 of them. Okay.
I'll take them now.
That.
I can give you my credit card number.
That's awesome.
I look forward to seeing you guys. You guys will be back out here, and I think it's March or April for Desert Storm. You know, we're just going to keep doing our thing out here.
Well, I certainly appreciate spending your time this evening with us, Jeff, and you got a fantastic looking boat, and thank you for taking the time out and going to SEMA and being there for SEMA and being there for the Showdown. You were an integral part of what we did here at Kicker, and I can't say thank you enough, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Vasily, what do you got to add tonight? Anything, sir?
No, it was good. Thanks for having me here. It was a pleasure for me. Very nice.
I need to plan a trip to Canada. You and I need to have some beers and bread.
Yeah, no problem. You are very welcome.
Good. I like
some
this. I like Vasily.
Now, let me tell you one thing, Kip. He wasn't allowed to drive his car over the border, so he actually had to ship it to Buffalo, right?
What?
And then he had to fly
to Buffalo and drive from there.
Yeah. Yeah,
the restriction is a little bit crazy. It was by that time. Now it's open, but you never know. It might close again or whatever.
Hey, here real quick, Brian Park asked a question, do the blocks line up to each other to keep the wires short and clean? Brian, they actually do, and maybe I can show you, hopefully, there is you can actually come off of the block, you can come around here to this block, and you can actually tie the wire to this landing stand leg right here if you want to. So if you're looking to do something short and clean, you could come off of the block here, you can run over to this one, and then you can actually tie your wire right here. And on the bigger, we may have pulled it because we had some design changes on that one. Yeah, that's why we moved it to there. So basically that support that's right there, we were going to put it here, and as you can see from the castings, there just wasn't any room between the casting and the motor, so we actually went over here and pulled it here. But you can take a nice zip tie and run it through there if you want to, and you can use a very short wire and go from terminal block to terminal block and connect that up, and it works really, really well. So hopefully, Brian, that answers your question on that. And thank you for tuning in. Good to see you back in Austin, safe and sound after your trip out to California. Good to see you here tonight. So Vasily, let's move on to Drew Jones. Drew, obviously Bassaholic Productions. If anyone's looking for some educated help in box design, you are definitely one of the guys to go to. So I'm gonna give you a plug for that. But what do you got to add to tonight's show before we take off?
Man, actually, I got a couple things. I'm gonna touch back on those terminal blocks and the subs. That's nice for guys who run a bunch of subwoofers and like to wire things. You know, particularly that's gonna be super nice and having to cram wires into the terminals or do something crazy outside the enclosure. That's super nice.
Appreciate that. Thank you. And that's actually, you know, from the original Solo X and looking at in the field usage and everything, and we still feel that a terminal system like this, where you can use a standard, you know, push compression terminal, which that's actually a custom tooled one that we do. It's got a very good spring, nice strength on it, but we think adding those barriers there where you can actually go into a block with wire and come down on it. Obviously, I highly recommend anyone, if you're using solid copper wire to go into any barrier block, whether it's an amplifier, speaker, whatever, man, ferrules, use wire ferrules.
Just thinking, that was one of my first thoughts. And so from that, I want to thank you, Kip, for all the stuff you do for everyone, you know, us and the entire industry and just the community as a whole. Like, you're a great representative for Kicker and for all of us as a whole.
Well, Drew, I appreciate that. I'm humbled to say that. I'm just fortunate to work for a company that allows us to do these things, and I have to give all props to where it's due, and that's the management team here at Kicker. More importantly, it's from the top down. That's Mr. Steve Irby. So, but thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
And then I want to thank Steve Barber. So without him, you know, obviously the show would be going on. We wouldn't be here because he took the initiative and put in the work to get big base vehicles back into SEMA for the first time in a very long time. So that's an incredible thing you did, Steve. It really is.
Yeah, thank you.
I got basehead 30. That 15 had me at hello.
That's a fact.
I'm just glad. You know, I had a 10 back there too, and I only really wanted to hook up one because I didn't want to go through change wires and stuff. So I figured we might as well show the big dog. So that's why I brought the 15 out. But man, I think I hope everyone who was tuned in watching got a good view of that woofer and what it's doing. And for whatever it's worth, man, we're going to do something special with Ramondo when the show's over. So stay tuned for that. Follow him.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't follow Ramondo Walker, you need to follow Ramondo Walker. Facebook, Instagram, do it. Do it now. Last but not least, let's go down to Bobby Gately. Bobby, you are definitely another rock star in this industry. Thank you for spending your time here with us tonight. What else you got to add tonight? Anything? Plug or otherwise? It's all yours, man.
Dude, well, I mean, I got to thank all of you guys. You know, Steve Barber worked his ass off putting together all that stuff for the SEMA show and the Showdown and all of that in the same week, man. I could see him just putting in work, and I super appreciate everything he does for the community. He's a great friend of mine, and I love him. And you know, the rest of the guys, everybody put on a great show. It was awesome to meet Jeff and Vasily and hang out with Drew. He's a great friend of mine. We talk a lot. Drew helps me out every once in a while when I'm working with a weird sub that I'm not familiar with. And I'm like, hey, I'm looking for some guidance on some enclosure design. And he's a great dude and he's brilliant. And, you know, I love what Kicker has done for the community from the beginning of my car audio experience. You know my story with Kicker all the way back to 89 and then on through all of the 90s and the 2000s and the whole start of Gately Audio. There was so much involved with knowledge and experience that I got from Kicker. And I love being a part of this show. It's a great time every time. And I guess I should say, you know, my shameless plug is for Gately Audio products. You can find them at gatelyaudio.com and skyhighcaraudio.com. Those are your sources for our very high-end car audio products, including enclosures and some new subwoofers that we have ourselves. So
fantastic. Absolutely. Thank you, Bobby, very much. I'm going to bring up here real quick, since I got Ramondo here. Ramondo, two things. First thing I'm going to do is, the gentleman's asking, what's the YouTube channel for the Soldier Guy? So now you're not Ramondo, you're the Soldier Guy.
Oh, you're the Soldier Guy.
Which I guess is kind of a takeoff of Soldier Boy, but I guess it's a little different, so I guess we'll call you Soldier Guy.
I mean, I guess I'll take that.
But seriously, how do they find you?
So my YouTube channel is The Bass God. That's my YouTube channel, and my Instagram is The Bass God 773. All right, that's with DA. The Bass God 773 Instagram, and The Bass God on my YouTube channel.
So hopefully everyone got that. There's the information for that. And then, as like everyone else, plug or anything you want to add to the end of the show?
Yeah, most definitely. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Steve Barber. Without Steve, I wouldn't even have gotten to this point. I wouldn't say gotten to this point. I wouldn't even be at the SEMA show and being exposed the way I am. Also, I'd like to thank Bobby, Bassaholics, Vasily, Jeff, all you guys. You know, when I went to the SEMA show, I was looking at you guys, looking to see what I can do better as a person and things I can do to uplift the community. And what I've seen, the things that Bobby Gately did, Drew did, especially Drew, you know, with him and his brother, I've never seen anybody work as hard as them two as I did at the SEMA show, working with all the equipment, making sure that their team and their company were up to par for this SEMA show. And I have my gratitude out to you guys, most definitely. Jeff, same thing with you and your crew. Vasily, you represented Def Bonts and your vehicle with like 100% authority. And as well, just like a quick shout out, mainly and first, my team Road Hitters. You know, it's an up and coming team in the community, and you know, I got to lead by example and let them know what they need to do. Jakar Audio, without them in this enclosure, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. Epic Center Designs, JS Alternators, Limitless Lithium, and just pretty much it. Oh, FI Car Audio. Other than that, hey, thank you, Steve. Thank you, Drew Jones, Bobby, Vasily, and Jeff. Appreciate you guys' support.
Let me add one more thing.
And you too, Kip.
Oh, I'm just a facilitator tonight. That's all I'm saying. So with that said, I do want to give a heartfelt thanks. Thank you for driving up from Lawton to join us here in the studio tonight.
Yep, no problem. No problem, Kip.
It's been great meeting you. I look forward to doing some more stuff with you.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And our remote guest, starting off with Steve Barber. Jeff, I'm going to butcher your last name. Say it for me.
Cuvalier.
Cuvalier. I'll get it 3 more times. It's like Beetlejuice. 3rd time, I'll get it right. Jeff Cuvalier. We got Vasily, is it Mushekov? Mushokov. Okay, got that right. We got Drew Jones. I got that one right. I know Drew. He and I have been around too much together. And then last but not least, Mr. Bobby Gately. I thank each and every one of you for your time tonight. Thank you for joining the show. Hopefully everyone tuned in and watching got something good out of this. Kicker, Unmasked Live Weekly. We love doing things like this. If you like the things like this on the way out the door tonight, if you do us a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Tell us what you want to hear. You can always reach us, social@kicker.com. With that said, it's my pleasure to be the knucklehead in front of the camera trying to keep the Titanic from hitting the iceberg. Your host, Kip Litzy, for Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly. We got Tim, as always, behind cameras doing a great job making sure we get some good close-ups and good video of what's going on here. Backstage, Ernie, as always, he's running the switcher. We got JW back there actually playing Bill Frog tonight, and Sandy's playing the role of JW, so they're both here, but they reversed roles. But either way, thank them for tuning in. This small team of 5 people, we get together. We represent the 220-plus employees right here in the heartland of America, Stillwater, Oklahoma. Stillwater Designs and Audio, or as you know, as Kicker. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We're here every Tuesday night, 7:30 Central Time on our Facebook and YouTube channels. We look forward to seeing you next week. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe whatever you're doing. Have a fantastic weekend. If you got that Kicker koozie, put something cold in it and enjoy it. We will see you next Tuesday night. And again, special thanks to my guest, Ramondo Walker, for coming up and joining us live.
Again,
brother.
thank you.
Appreciate it. And I can't say it enough. Thank him. His service is what keeps this country free and allows us to enjoy everything we do, including this. Good night, everyone. It's my pleasure. Have a great week.